Alabama fans that don't like Coleman Coliseum, the lighting on the moon is worse.
Much worse.
It's a lot better half the day.
Yeah, I got no desire.
This is an issue in Mount Everest, too.
No, yeah.
Because they have to leave their crap at the top. I mean, there's really no way of getting it down.
I mean, literally, if we have to leave the planet to recolonize, I got no desire. Just leave me here.
Yeah.
Like the Maldives, I'll do that. I'll take one for the team.
But the moon,
send me there, but the moon, no thanks.
Thank you.
Brown, do you want to do your story first?
Sure. So
it's an update to yesterday?
Update to yesterday when we were talking about the wolf that they have
cloned?
Yeah, the dire wolf.
The dire wolf?
10,000 years extinct.
So the CEO of that company was on Rogan, and it dropped, I think, yesterday or the day before. Mm-hmm. I listened to the first hour, and it is fascinating what they're doing.
Yep, they want to bring back the woolly mammoth.
That's what I was about to say. They're working on the woolly mammoth. Now, I said the same thing you said, like, that's just going to screw things up. And
they're always going to have an angle, and they're going to be like, it's good for...
no, what he pointed out was the Asian elephant and the woolly mammoth, they share like 99.5% of DNA. So really, the woolly mammoth is still there. It just
Okay, but where do we
stop?
stop?
Well, that is the question Rogan asked. He's like, y'all are playing God.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, you've got no right to play God. And they're like, well, aren't we playing God much in the same way people that hunted these things to extinction were playing God? And Rogan was like, yeah, but we got a problem with that. I mean, I'm not saying that that's right either. But I mean, it's I'm only an hour in, but it is fascinating. Google, this is what was fascinating.
But I guess, are we playing God with technology anyway, based on the fact that back in the day, if a guy had a ruptured appendix, they just died.
Yeah, they died. So Google woolly mice.
Oh, yeah, the woolly mammoth.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So in their effort to replicate the woolly mammoth, they changed the DNA on mice to see if they could get the woolly mammoth coat, and they did it on mice
Looks
already.
like Guy Fieri is a rat.
It does.
And he said, like, when they did that, they have been flooded with calls, people wanting to buy them. And they're like, we are not selling them. In fact, we don't even have the males and females caged
People are
together.
weirdo. People want to buy these mice.
They don't even have the male and female caged together so that they will not reproduce. But yeah, woolly mice.
Yeah.
So he says that is actually the way the woolly mammoth looked.
I do think
so. The next time,
coat.
Tyler, you complain about something you have to do behind the big glass, imagine having to go through all that hair to decide which one is male and female. That's somebody's
right.
job today, so they make sure they're separated into separate cages.
I do think along the way...
Okay, this one goes to the female cage.
It's small, but
that was in the male cage.
Everybody believes that they are going to be the generation that actually the world ends on their watch. But I mean, some of the stuff going on is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Well, and then there's the fact that we survive my trash ending of the day, and that is the celebration in Gainesville after we win the championship in Florida the other night. I want to introduce you to, what's his name? Oh, his name is Stephen Buchanan. You just think he's just a really aggressive, excited Florida student, right? Nope, he's 28 years old, still living in a college town in Gainesville.
Boy.
He's out celebrating with the kids, and he decides to climb up on the old traffic light.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, spotlight's up there. Police see him. Here we go. Hey, get down, sir. Get down. Oh, I'm going to stand up here.
Oh, my
Well, he's
gosh.
not one of the Walendas. You know what's coming. Here he goes.
Hey,
He's
good reference
bouncing.
there with the Walinda, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I work hard at this job.
Bouncing.
He's bouncing. There he goes. I don't know how high that is. You got an estimation, LT?
15 feet?
I think it might be, 15 to 20.
Stoplight?
Different angle. Okay,
boy.
now watch this. People are going to catch him, right?
Nope.
We're all going to get out of the way.
I'm not getting hurt for his.
Yep. Hospitalized. No details to his injuries. We do not think it's life-threatening, though.
Buddy, you fall 15 feet and land on an asphalt street. You're lucky to
I don't
live.
know if you guys saw Octavio Dotel, who was a really good closer.
I did see this story.
And then Tony Blanco, both guys died in a nightclub collapse
the roof
in
collapsed.
the Dominican Republic. The crazy thing is how many people were there. You know, Ron Slay was bitching about San Antonio on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
They get it going in the DR.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, new show today as we roll into a Thursday, day one of the Masters. We'll talk about that coming up in just a second. It is one of those sports events that everybody either loves or casually pays attention to, or at least changes their wardrobe when we get to this time of year. So we'll pay attention to that a little bit today. We'll talk more basketball, some college football coming up. Zac Blackerby joins us hour number 2 to talk about Auburn as we wind down in the spring. Our first Masters update today, Brownie, brought to you by, or LT, by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Auto. The Masters updates all day long.
Yeah, we know some people going over the next couple of days over to Augusta. Hey, and if you're about to hit the road, whether it's for that or heading down to the coast, heading to the lake, you need to make sure your car is serviced bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they can handle all of this. Very important when you get in there. Mention the next round. They will guarantee you the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham. Great locations throughout Birmingham. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Nobody really meaningful on the leaderboard yet, so we'll save our leaderboard updates here in a little bit.
Got two SEC powers at the top.
I just wanted to talk a big picture here as we get going today. Just saw on the tournament practice facility, is that right?
That's driving range, yes.
Driving range. Tournament practice facility, Justin Thomas out there, the former Alabama golfer, who has not been playing his best golf. And I see where his dad always was sort of his golf coach. Mm-hmm. He now has a swing coach, which is different than years past. And he's also, something happened with his caddy. He's got a different caddy today for this tournament. I don't know what happened to his usual caddy, but he's rolling the Masters with a different caddy. That's stacking some change up. Yeah. Golfers don't like change, do they?
Well, they don't, but when it starts to go bad, that's the first thing they do is, we'll change a caddy. You just saw Max Homa do that. If you watch the PGA Tour, he's been struggling a lot lately.
New swing coach.
You get a new swing coach, just a different set of eyes.
Is that the equivalent of firing the head coach as a golfer, getting a new caddy?
No, that'd be a coordinator.
Yeah, offensive
coordinator. That's firing your offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, a swing coach is more like firing the head coach.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's when it's just there's no coming back. We're past point of no return.
That's right. Yeah, so you'll see guys do that a lot just to get a change up a little bit, and it looks like so you're blaming the caddy, but sometimes you need fresh voice in your ear, fresh eyes watching you.
And I don't know if you play any of this, match against match or winners or any of that.
Yeah, I'll start match play tomorrow.
Okay, match play tomorrow after you get the first round under your belt at lanceslock.com. You can go do that. It seems like the betting odds, and you can tell us what my bookie is saying if you want to, Brown, here.
Okay.
It seems like the betting odds, it's Scheffler and Rory and then a gap in everyone else as we start today. Is that what you guys have been seeing?
Yeah. I mean, Scheffler's numbers continue to go down. I think some shops as low as under 4-1. And then I saw McIlroy as low as 6-1. And then I think it is Morikawa right after those two.
But a gap, right?
But I think it's like 10-1, 11-1.
Double digits, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Scheffler and Rory McIlroy are your consensus favorites. Again, every time Lance says it, I've watched this. But every time Lance says it, I almost do a double take and think Lance is wrong about how long it's been since Rory McIlroy's won a major.
Got him coming up in 4 downs, by the way.
But it's been 12 years, is that right?
Since he won his last major.
11 years.
11 years since he won his last major.
11 golf seasons.
11 golf seasons. I mean, that's incomprehensible.
It really is.
For as good as that guy is.
Never has won the Masters. But it's been
not.
11 years since he won his last major. Mm-hmm. He's 35. Mm-hmm. So he won his last major when he was 24?
Yeah. So the biggest meltdown
I'm going to call BS.
Okay, I'm going
that doesn't sound right.
The biggest meltdown I've ever seen was in the Open, and that weird name. He never did anything again on 18, or was it the playoff hole?
Oh, Jean Van de Velde.
Yeah.
That was as bad as it gets right there.
But almost as awkwardly painful was Roy's meltdown on the back nine.
Well, his was dragged out over 9 holes. Van de Velde did all his work on one hole. Yeah, I mean, that
but
made it tough
Roy's
to watch.
in somebody's backyard. He's
was,
like,
yes,
I don't know where it is.
He even said, that's not out of bounds? That's got to be out of bounds, right? Rory last won the 2014 PGA Championship. He won 2 majors that year, the Open Championship, the PGA Championship, back to back. So those are his last. He's only got 4 major wins. I mean, like, for a guy of his caliber, that's underachieving. Yeah. I hate to say that because I really like Rory, But for a player of his caliber, only 4 majors and not having won one in a decade is underachieving for him.
Those betting odds brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag, where you can go play a variety of things throughout the day and the tournament at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, code next round, mybookie.ag. Code next round. You can sign up right there and get that sign-up bonus, 50% up to $1,000 when you use code next round. And also that $10 casino chip. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, including, as Jim said, you can do some head-to-heads right there in the Masters. And they do it interesting. They do like a 3-hole head-to-head, like 4, 5, and 6, or 7, 8, 9. So you can play a lot of them quickly.
Yes.
It's not an entire round that you have to sit through. So those are kind of fun there. You can play all of that right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round.
Really fun to do, and maybe you can pull a little upset there because it's only 3 holes, and you can go with a little bit of an underdog, get a little juice there. I don't think Rory wins this weekend because of a stat, and Brown, you'll have to help me here.
Okay.
I know it's all about your second shot. It's a second shot course at Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to write down what these numbers meant.
Okay.
But the average winner at Augusta is 52.5 at this. I think it's hitting greens.
No, that would be a bad greens in regulation. That's only half.
It's 52.5, and whatever that is, Rory is 42.5 of this. Like he's 10 off the pace of what this is. This important stat is 52.5. I'll have to find it again. It is. It is what the average winner at Augusta is 52.5. I don't know what that is. Roy's 10 off of that.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yes.
but without knowing what the 52.
It's a big gap.
Yeah. I mean,
I would feel comfortable saying, though, that Rory, since winning that last major, probably has earned more on the tour than anybody else that hasn't won a major, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I would agree.
Because I think he's leading the money list this year. I think he's got him almost. We're in April. It's $10 million.
He hasn't
already.
stopped winning. He's just stopped winning majors.
He's won 2 of 5 starts. He's had 5 starts. He's won two tournaments,
including
this
the
year.
Players, which pays more than anything.
Tell me back 30 years ago in the mid-'90s, before we saw the influence of Tiger Woods, Roy has already earned, I'm looking at it right here, $9,057,558, and we are just beginning our first major of the year. Like, how much money was $9 million on the tour back in the 90s?
That's probably Arnold Palmer's career earnings. I bet it's not even that. I bet Arnold Palmer's career earnings on tour didn't reach.
And I couldn't tell you one of the events he's won. You said he's already won 2 of 5.
He won the Players. That's a big one.
Players.
Oh, yeah, the Players.
It was a Monday finish. Is why you forget it.
Yeah, it's something in Hawaii probably, or California, or Florida before they get to Augusta.
I think you got them all.
Now
Texas.
does this money ever back down? Because I still get confused on where we are with Liv and the PGA.
Let me tell you, I got a stat for you here.
Okay. Do you have the actual entire stat?
do you know what the stat means?
I wrote percentage beside it, Brown,
Yeah.
and it's got to be greens in regulation.
No, not 52%. You wouldn't make the cut hitting 52% of the greens, especially at Augusta. You'd be in a straitjacket at Augusta if you only had half the greens.
Is it
birdies to green? Birdies to greens in regulation?
A lot of people are saying strokes gained approach, but that wouldn't be that high of a number the week of Augusta. I've got to get some context on this stat.
I'll have to do some research
If you
in
can
the break
find
here.
it, I'll try to help you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I still have basketball brain.
I know. I got you.
And my favorite player that I fought for all year left Alabama yesterday. We'll get to it later on.
Where did you find the stat?
Oh, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and find where I found the stat.
Yeah, I can't criticize Dunaway here because I do this all the time.
Yeah.
I'll read something, I can't even remember where I read it.
scribbled them down in my notes,
Yeah.
and I wrote Rory 42.5%, the winner 52.5%. I even put an exclamation point by it to bring this up, Jim. Sound golf smart today. Missed a little bit of the information there. This Live PGA Tour comparison stat brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. If you feel maybe bloated, overweight a little bit like our Live hype has been over the years, Way to Wellness can get you back to your healthy way of living. Planforme.com. Planforme.com is a website. Go find what Leslie and her board-certified team can do for you. First off, no contract, so you're not locked into anything, no sign-up fees, and you get an absolutely free consultation. So really, you walk in, get all the information you need, and you make the choice on what you want to do to jumpstart your weight loss or control some blood pressure numbers or cholesterol numbers. Leslie and her board-certified team, they offer injection therapy, meal replacements, protein bars, which I use between meals that help me don't have bad snacks or eat a fourth meal or something. It all works for you right there at planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Last week was Liv's first major network golf event.
Didn't know it was on.
Exactly.
It was on Main Fox.
Yeah. They've actually got a TV deal they're excited about now.
Yeah, and it's on Main Fox.
So who are
And
some of the broadcasters?
And NBC NBC had the PGA event, just the Valero Open.
A low-rung event.
Throwaway event right before you get to the Masters.
It's
right?
basically a bunch of guys trying to earn their way in the Masters. They're not in yet. If they can win that one, they get in.
Wait, is that in Houston?
It's in San Antonio.
Yeah, so it's not the star power of the PGA Tour, and one's on Main Fox in Miami with a lot of star power, and the other one's at the Valero Open in San Antonio in Texas on NBC. 1.75 million people watched the Valero Open on NBC. How many people do you think watched the Live?
Not nearly as much, 500,000.
484,000 people.
Versus what for the Valero, Texas?
1.75 million.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
triple.
Forward,
Okay,
triple
3
the
or 4
audience.
times.
There's probably a lot of layers and a lot of multiple problems here. But the biggest to me is advertising the event, and then it's going to be on Fox.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they did. And
But I mean, did you guys see it?
No.
But if you want to take advantage of
because
sports,
there was no football on Fox to promote me too.
That's right, for me to see the promoter.
Promote me
Yeah.
too. That Live's coming up.
Yeah, I got to be watching Fox to see the Fox
I
promotion.
will tell you this: if I'm one of the Live golfers, I'm as soon as that check comes in, I'm checking. I want my check cashed as quick as I can. I know it's Saudi money and everything. I don't think that league is that tour. If I'm in the PGA seat, I'm not worried about it anymore.
Well, it's about to be tested soon because Brooks Koepka is one of the biggest names they've got there, and his contract is coming up, and he has made no bones about the fact that he's going to do some deep consideration. One of his friends, Fred Couples, the former Masters champion, said on his podcast, Koepka is coming back to the PGA Tour. Now, Koepka tamped that down when he was asked about it. Obviously, he's still under contract to Live. He's kind of like, Freddie.
But the wealthy people have losses that they write off, and they look to those losses for end of the year tax purposes. We got people listening right now that did the exact same thing. Saudis are never going to run out of money.
No. The money will never stop.
And I think this could be, whether you're laundering money, whether you're writing this off, this could be something that goes on forever, and it's just not nearly the product that you get with the PGA Tour. I don't know how they ever coexist, though.
I think what happens is, though, those guys get to an event like today, and they miss that feeling.
Yeah.
Because I watched some of the Live event you were talking about. I turned it on so, YouTube knows what I like, right? So I turned my TV on Sunday after church, plopped down. I was going to take a nap either way because the weather was bad. But I turned my TV on Sunday after church, and I got 2 options on the YouTube. It's either the Valero Texas Open or the Live event in Miami. And I'm like, let's check this Live event in Miami, see what it's about. And here's what, and I'm a golf guy, right? I love golf. And I know the names of.
Will you play today?
I will, in fact. Played yesterday, and I'll play today. Weather's great. I turned it on and watched it for about 5 minutes because, and I'll tell you why, and I think this is the issue they have. They've tried to be forward thinking. They've done all this music and stuff. I think ultimately when it comes to TV, we like comfortable. Like the XFL, I don't think worked. The XFL tried to come on and be edgy and do all this stuff different that they thought the fans were going to like. And ultimately fans are like, yeah, but I'm comfortable watching the NFL. It's what I'm comfortable with. And this just feels weird. Whereas the USFL has said, we're just going to be we're going to be who we are. We're going to be a lesser version of the NFL. Now, I don't know if people are watching the USFL or not, but when you watch the UFL, it feels more comfortable than the XFL did, right?
Yeah, but it does have a lot of extra noise with the play calling and stuff.
It does.
But they ease some of that stuff into the NFL gradually. They let these other leagues try it. and they ease it in. It's a great point there. Great point.
That's
there.
why people I don't think watch it. They're just not comfortable watching it. It's not what I'm comfortable with.
We'll keep you updated on the leaderboard as the main golfers get out coming up here in the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour at the Masters all weekend long. Thanks to our friends at Vulcan Tire and Auto LT.
Again, great locations throughout the Birmingham area. If you're getting on the road anytime soon this spring, you need to make sure that your car is serviced bumper to bumper. You need the new tires. You mentioned the next round when you head into one of these locations. They are going to guarantee the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Hey, and before we talk about the portal and Little College basketball, we'll turn our attention to football coming up in our next segment. Indy Grand Prix is coming back to Barbara Brownie, and it's always one of those special events that we get out there.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I was just talking to someone that had some people in from out of town, and they took them out to see the Barbara Motorsports Park, and they were blown away. The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. Fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, Newgarden, put their skills on test with one goal in mind, and that's victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard making the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Tickets selling fast. Get yours today. IndyAlabama.com.
Okay, 2 more exits yesterday into the basketball portal. Jahki Howard leaves Auburn, averaged 4 points a game. He does leave open the possibility of returning to Auburn in his post after he hits the portal, thanking the Auburn fans. So there is that potential that he could come back, just wants to explore his options in the portal. Jahki Showtime Howard, as he sincerely writes at the bottom of that.
Well, that's a bold, I mean, my nickname might be Showtime, but for me to spell it out when I'm signing something, that's a bold move right there.
Yeah, I would say that his biggest memory at Auburn is the airplane.
Yeah,
There's no
the
doubt
flight,
about
yeah.
it. Like when he said his name, Lance, that's the first thing I thought was the airplane fight, scuffle, whatever.
Then there's the guy that left Alabama, Jarin Stevenson. Brown, on a scale of 1 to a million, how many posts did we have about Jarin Stevenson throughout the year?
You mean like in the chat room?
In the chat room.
One of the most talked about players on the Alabama squad in the chat room. Kind of a polarizing player, in fact.
A guy I defended so many times,
You
LT.
love him.
Yeah, I do. A 6'11" guy, really great defender, sweet-looking shot. Problem is, ball rarely goes in the hole this year.
I mean,
last year he shot it a lot better and was huge in that win over Clemson to get Alabama to their first Final Four. Led the team in scoring. I think he scored 20-plus in that game.
He had 19 in that game,
Yeah.
and that was kind of his highlight. You know, it's very difficult when you're talking about the most prolific offense in college basketball to start 22 of 37 games and average 5 points per game.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to do.
But, you know, Nate Oates, in spite of all those numbers, kept starting him and giving him playing time. So what did Nate Oates see that the chat room didn't see, Dunaway? Now, you like his defense.
His defense, his length there makes it all so good. And eventually you thought you were going to see his start scoring, but eventually he became an offensive hindrance.
Now,
I don't know this. You're a lot closer to the program than we are. But I guarantee you, if you ask some of these guys like Gonzo behind the scenes, I bet Stevenson in practice is a can't-miss guy. Because, you know, he shoots 30% behind the arc, but he still takes these threes. You saw him hit a lot of threes last year against Clemson in the regional final. He's probably one of these guys where they're just like, damn, he makes everything in practice. You get him out there.
I watch him in warm-ups, LT. I mean,
Does he make everything in warm-ups?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, tonight's the night.
did I say this is Stevenson's night?
I would sit there every time, and I'm like, tonight's the night he's going to go off, and I can look at Zach in the chat room and go, Zach, see, I told you this guy was going to be the guy.
Yeah. Landmine Believer is pinning the Final Four, not making the Final Four on Stevenson. If he blocks out in Houston, or excuse me, if he blocks out in Knoxville, we get that rebound. This is him.
Yeah.
We get that rebound. We would have been in Houston's bracket, and Alabama owns Houston.
Well, that's going really deep. We would have been in a different bracket.
Well, I mean, he's saying his Tennessee was in Houston's bracket. It probably does swap it. You know, probably put send Tennessee to Cleveland, send Alabama to Lexington.
So let me be the judge here, Judge Jim, not as popular as Judge Judy.
Right.
I will allow it.
Wow. Wow. And you defend Stevenson more
I
than
do.
anybody.
I mean, I remember the play.
So Stevenson's got the do not contact in the portal.
He knows where he's going.
that means
I mean,
forgot my latest
do you think he's going back to Chapel Hill where he's from?
I do.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what-
that seems like logical, right?
That's the easy one, but-
outside of the fact that you are playing for a lame duck coach.
Yeah.
But
if you only got
he's probably thinking I go to Chapel Hill 1 year, I'm in the NBA, whether he's playing coach or not.
He barely made it back to Alabama last year. He was a very last exit out of the NBA draft last year because of his length, his size, his defense, and his such a pretty shot. I think some NBA teams were really thinking we can get the ball to go in the hole.
Now that you've seen the guys a couple of years, though, if you're Nate Oates, if you're an Alabama basketball fan, what is the bigger loss? I mean, did you have
Stevenson or who?
Or Mo Diabate? I was going to say, who did you have more?
I mean, are you doing a Zach impersonation now? Zach in the chat room. It's been him all. Why are we? How is Mo Diabate not starting and Stevenson in there?
He wanted Mo Diabate. Zach was not alone.
I thought you didn't look at the chat.
A lot of people are asking.
This is in our post game show. It's all year long. Zach's in our chat here. He's in our post game chat.
I don't know. Again, I hadn't looked at the chat in 4 months.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
But to me, Diabate, I know Stevenson has that body.
Yeah.
But Diabate, I mean, you talk about a great defender. I think he's very raw when it comes to the offense, but he was getting better and better. I just project he's going to be ultimately the better player.
He defends as well as Stevenson does. He's really elite at defending.
Just doesn't have that length.
And his offense got better this year, Diabate's did. But here's what North Carolina has already done. North Carolina has picked up a guard, the big guard from Colorado State yesterday. They got the big man from Arizona, and they got a guard from West Virginia. I think they'll add Stevenson from the portal from Alabama. The do not contact means he knows where he's going.
Well,
they've already got the deal worked out.
And we saw North Carolina and the money, the revenue, and the money that they actually put into basketball. And I think this is one of those situations where if you're Hubert Davis, you ask every and anyone that will contribute to NIL because this is your all buy-in year.
Yeah. And no, this is it. They are in on basketball, and if Hubert can't win being in on basketball, then we're going to find a new coach. They're all in on basketball because
of course, Belichick's probably like,
Well, what the football people got going for Belichick, the basketball guys were like, hey, we're a basketball school. We got to crank this up over here. So this is it for Hubert at North Carolina. Either he wins big or they'll flip the switch up there, and we'll see if Jarin Stevenson ends up there. I don't know if you could grow up in Chapel Hill and go to NC State or somewhere else. We'll see where he ends up going. That's the exit yesterday. One more major point about where we are in basketball, and then we'll flip to football likely for the rest of the show, unless there's some breaking news. But tell me about Lags Eatery, Lags Eats. And then I want to make a NIL point to you because we had two big, obvious changing of the world moments over the last 2 days when it comes to basketball and the NIL.
So you're looking for breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, maybe you work that second or third shift. Go see our friends at Lags, Justin and Eric. They've done a tremendous job reviving, pulling from the ashes, one of the iconic eateries, especially over the mountain. Back in the day, again, I'm from Homewood, used to go here all the time. Fantastic burger. Had this just last week. They've got that great patio out back. Any Braves game that is on, they will be having a happy hour back there. So if you're looking for a place to go watch a little baseball, drink some cold beer, have a great sandwich, including that bologna sandwich with the thick cut smoked bologna. I'm going to have some of those brought up here, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
You guys are going to go burgers or bologna? Or one of each?
Why not both?
Yeah.
Why do I have to pick one?
I'll go halvesies, split them in half, and I'll take half a burger, half a bologna.
Okay, so when I ordered my burger the other day, I didn't even get to order my side when he jumped in, him being Eric, and said, "You want tots?"
Yeah.
Do you ever say no to tots?
No.
And they were the really crispy tots.
Oh, that's the way I want them.
Yeah.
I want them crunchy.
Speaking of tots, Napoleon Dynamite will be in town next week. I don't know if Melton's heard about this.
That comedian?
No. John Heater.
John Heater's in town?
Yeah, John Heater, whoever played, who was the Mexican kid?
I don't know.
For Pedro.
I don't remember. Yeah, Pedro. I don't know.
Yeah, and then John Kreis, who was in White Lotus, they're all going to be doing sorry, Lags, we'll get back to you in a sec. They're going to be doing a showing of the film down at UAB, and then they're going to have a panel discussion about it.
Okay.
So it should be, I'm going to try to get John Kreis on the show next week because we had him on. Do you guys remember a couple of years ago? You probably don't.
Ooh, I don't.
Yeah, but
He's Connie Britton's husband?
no, that's Steven Zahn. This is a guy that pops up late in season 1.
Okay, I haven't seen him yet. Then.
And then he is a recurring character. He's the guy that's got the big boat in 3.
Yeah, in 3. Yeah. He's one of the guys that comes back.
So
in
anyway,
3.
great tots at Lags.
Right.
Fantastic burger. Everything made fresh right there in house. And again, they're open till 2 a.m.
That's in Avondale, right?
Yeah, it's located on 3rd Avenue South, right between Cahaba and Avondale Breweries. It's a stone's throw from Mom's Basement. You see the hours right there, but get in, get one of those delicious burgers, grab some breakfast. Don't forget about the Sunday brunch. That begins every single Sunday, I think at 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m.
So
every
6
Sunday.
a.m. to 2 a.m. today. It's open. Can't wait. I may go by there on my way out to an event tonight. Looking forward to an afternoon lunch.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll swing by there.
And tell our friends at Lags that the guys from the next round sent you.
Okay. Hey, Lags friends, I sent you.
I sent me.
Yeah,
I sent me here.
I'm here. All right. So here's the huge NIL. Obvious the world has changed. First, I'll use the female version. 2 days ago, Olivia Miles of Notre Dame. Other than the Beckers girl from Connecticut, she's projected to be the 2nd overall pick in the WNBA.
Okay.
Not number 1, Beckers. The 2nd overall pick in the WNBA.
Can I guess what's going on? She's coming back.
She leaves Notre Dame, goes to the portal, and instead of going to the WNBA, is going to TCU. She chooses portal to TCU instead of going to the WNBA. That's how much money the NIL can put together.
I don't want to tell you how to conduct your business because if it works, it works. But if you are a college that is paying more than the WNBA, it just seems like that system's out of whack, right?
Yeah, well, the viewership's up more. More people watch college women's
That is
basketball
true.
than the WNBA.
Yeah, but is that based on the Caitlin Clark numbers from last year? I would
No,
love to
it was
to
good again this year.
continue.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
because I watched one less game this year than I did last year, and that was the national championship with Caitlin Clark.
I don't know.
So I didn't watch it either.
Though how TCU makes their money back on that.
Well, it's usually a big booster.
That's
that
my
loves
point.
women's basketball.
Well, the big booster pays it, and that's fine. And I guess if you just find a women's basketball specific booster, that's the key. I mean, you're not going to make your money back on it.
Yeah, you can't write this off. You're just pissing money
Yeah,
away
well, I mean,
unless that's
if
your
the booster
joy
just
in watching.
enjoys going
Yeah.
and watching TCU basketball, and that's great for the booster. It's their money.
But it happens in the men's game, too.
But I can make the money back in the men's game.
The Big 12 Player of the Year, J.T. Toppin, announces last night, he's returning to Texas Tech.
Of course he is.
An 18-9 guy. Instead of going to the NBA, where he was projected to be in that 25 to 30 end of first round, early second round
LeBaron
range,
Philon range.
he is getting, according to Matt Norlander, $4 million to come back to Texas Tech.
I mean, that is significant. That's a big number.
Say that number again.
$4 million.
I mean, again, I've said it many, many times. I am fascinated by the future of Texas Tech athletics, which is a weird thing to say, but because of this Double Eagle Oil $4 billion booster that started their NIL, is not just a contributor to their NIL. He was like the guy that's, hey, this is how we're going to do our NIL, and now he sold his business for $4 billion.
I know we got this new legislation that's going down July 1st. I don't know how much of the guardrails are really going to be up, but I don't know how much more. Look, I know that college basketball is making a lot of money, but, we said this when Nick Saban signed his deal. This guy now is making as much as Nick Saban made in a year at Alabama when everybody was like, oh, my gosh.
I did not even think about that.
And this is J.T. Toppin in Lubbock, Texas. So, there's got to be a ceiling on this, though. There absolutely has to be.
Yeah. I don't know if you can put a ceiling on it, but Toppin, $4 million. They are paying a guard from Santa Clara, Tyree Bryan, to come to Texas Tech. They paid to keep their all-freshman team participant, Christian Anderson, there. And they've got another guy who could be going to the NBA or coming back as well, a forward on that team. So Texas Tech right now looks to be maybe the team to beat in the Big 12, at least to compete with Houston and the other competitors there. Texas Tech basketball, there you go, $4 million. You know what that does? That makes everybody else's job harder if you're the Nate Oates, Bruce Pearls of the world, because if it's out there that Matt Norlander says this guy's getting $4 million,
oh, no doubt.
all of a sudden if I'm only getting $1 million or $750,000, I'm going to be like, wait a second. I know I'm not JT Toppin.
Yeah, but we're better than Texas Tech.
Yeah, but
am I half of JT Toppin?
Really? Am I $2 million?
I think what you're going to see is now Texas Tech is going to be one of these finalists for all of these major guys, whether it's portal or guys coming out of high school. And when you start to look at the On3 and the 24/7 rankings, I bet Texas Tech's going to be top 10 every year if they, in fact, do have this war chest of all of this cash. And obviously, if they're giving Toppin $4 million, they do.
Watch BYU. You mentioned that earlier this week. They got the Dabatsa kid, and they're expected to replace Igor Demon, the point guard. Who's
I was
going to
hoping
the
he would
NBA.
come back.
He's heading to the NBA, but they're expecting to replace him with Baylor's guard Bob Wright to go to BYU just to replace him. One great player after another because of their NIL. Crazy college world. When we come back, though, football. Zac Blackerby in 30 minutes on what's going on at Auburn. When we come back, Kalen DeBoer on Ty Simpson. Is he QB1? What does the Alabama coach say to that? Emily Grace is on campus in Tuscaloosa as we speak. The last player availability until fall camp starts, or at least SEC Media Days. All that. The show brought to you today by our friends at Odie's. What was the question last night?
What came first? Melton, see if you can get this as well. Tito's Vodka or Justin Bieber?
The popularity of Tito's Vodka is relatively new, Melton.
Yeah.
But it started in a guy's garage and or basement.
I think his name was Tito.
My gut's
Yeah, his
telling
name is
me
Tito.
Justin Bieber is the correct answer here.
I'm going
my
to go
gut.
Tito's by a year.
Tito's Vodka came out in 1997 out of Austin, the handmade vodka, which, by the way, they have just controlled the market.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I was watching the show, The Studio, and Seth Rogen was talking about Tito's Vodka.
Yeah. So before I say this, are they a soon-to-be sponsor, Tito's? Do you
No.
know? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't.
They may never be after this. I don't know.
I can't taste the difference between
I
that
can't-
vodka and a lot of other vodkas.
Yeah, I can taste really
vodka's vodka to me.
Well, I can taste really bad vodka because we used to just get a handle of Pop-Off back in college for $15.
Yeah.
And that handle take you to another universe. And it was $15.
And
And then get
literally,
a bad jug of the orange juice that wasn't even real orange juice.
Yeah, you put it in your gas tank, it'll take you to the universe.
But so my point was, I can tell really bad vodka, but if you put like your Redmonts and your Tito's and your Grey Goose and Belvedere's, I got no idea.
I can't wait for the day Dunaway's doing the live read. Tito's now. You can taste the difference in Tito's.
I can taste the difference.
I do like how you asked me, are they a potential sponsor? I don't know if
I
they need
can believe it's not Tito's. That's what it
So Tito's 1997, Justin Bieber 1994.
Boom.
So the Biebs,
Way to go,
a
Milton.
little bit younger. These are the little things you learn. And by the way, we heard the guy from Tito's worth $4 billion now.
Yeah, I can
$4
believe
billion.
it. Yeah, great advertising.
These are the little things you learn at Odie's. Hey, look, Odie's always doing their special Masters weekend. Get into either location. The original we were at last night in Crestline. The newest location in Edgewood. They will have the Masters on all day tomorrow, Saturday. Live music on Fridays and Saturdays. It's a Birmingham institution. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
The biggest, baddest track in NASCAR is the Talladega Super Speedway. Another amazing show coming April 25th through 27th with the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend. You can go see it yourself. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Do not miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend, April 25th through 27th. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus. A 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by AmFirst is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the next round. LancesLock.com every day brought to you by our friends at Hemphill, where baseball continues to be a winner for Lance, even though it's not for the Braves. Winner for Lance.
I had the
Lance,
Braves last night, too.
Oh, you did. 4-3 loser. They blow it in the 9th. A Trey Turner home run. 6:15 again tonight for the 2-9 Braves. LancesLock.com brought to you by Hemphill.
Yeah, Hemphill Services. Spring weather is here. Our friends at Hemphill, they're offering $1,000 off new HVAC install, 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. Ask them about this. They are ready to serve you. Hemphill Services, keep up with the changing weather. Locally owned and operated independent Trane dealer. The team can service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemphill Services since 1954. Hard to stop a Trane. 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090 or HemphillServices.com.
Masters leaderboard update coming up in a second as some of the meaningful names start to tee things off, and we'll get an early birdie on 1 and somebody else on 2, and when it's somebody not named Chris Kirk, I will get you to the leaderboard
SEC
update.
power right there.
Yeah, here we go. I promised football, but one more basketball note here. The folks at Yahoo did an NBA mock draft for those that are waiting on or seeing about LeBaron Philon and Tahad Pettiford. Philon not mentioned in their 31st round picks at Yahoo this morning. Tahad Pettiford 22 overall to the Utah Jazz.
You know what the Jazz don't know? His true height. and his true height is 5'11".
Taylor Korn of the Basketball Show in our social media, she was listening to some NBA draft stuff last night on Pettiford, and she was telling me that they were talking about his size and that the May 11th through the 18th combine will be huge for him on whether or not he can play against that type of talent, how he looks, and all of that. One thing unique about this upcoming NBA draft, if it's interesting to you, the first 14 picks in the Yahoo mock draft all are from American college basketball.
That's incredible because you guys remember in the early to mid to late 2000s, the European invasion, they called it.
Yeah. 6 of the first 16 last year did not play college basketball.
And it was funny to watch that because Fran Fraschilla was one of the guys that was overseas scouting these guys.
Oh, yeah. And he was like their go-to on ESPN anytime they were talking about the European guys.
And I think his biggest challenge was learning how to pronounce a lot of these names. But you would sit back and watch the NBA draft. The NBA draft used to be a must-watch for me. We used to do, before the three of us did a show, we would do a mock NBA draft on the show.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was that big of a deal.
You would even have the voice guy do like...
Carmelo Anthony, 6'7", 4.
Jalen Brunson.
So it used to be a bigger deal, and I think that was because we watched college basketball growing up, and you watch guys play for 3 years, and you knew all their names.
I'm with Lance. You get kind of invested in their career a little bit if you like them on the collegiate level. Now, if you dislike them, you get invested for a different reason. You kind of want to go see them go to the NBA and fail.
And to me, I don't even watch the NBA draft anymore. Do you guys?
No,
I do not.
Zero interest.
I do not. I rarely watch the NBA until it gets to the playoffs, and then
this is going to be a great playoff, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, I think.
I promise you it's going to be a great playoff.
The Duke team that beat Alabama has the first, 9th, and 10th pick in the draft, according to Yahoo. Cooper, first overall. Knipple, 9th overall. Malawak, 10th overall.
Malawak, he scares me a little bit based on what we saw in the championship game. I mean, you play 21 minutes and you don't have a rebound with it. He's got a 9'2" wingspan.
But he's got the one thing only God can coach.
You're right.
And that's why he's going to get drafted.
And it'll be all about raw talent, defense, and blocking shots, protecting the rim.
Who do you think the first SEC player is? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the first round.
Well, a lot of people would say Walter Clayton, but height's going to be an issue for Walter Clayton.
23rd in the first round, one spot behind Todd Pettiford.
Yeah, height's going to be an issue.
Boogie Flan not in the first round. Not sure Boogie's coming out.
Yeah, he talked about going back to Arkansas. Yeah, I saw that. Again, NIL. Arkansas's got it.
Here we go. Number 5 overall, according to Yahoo, South Carolina's Colin Murray Boyles.
Man, you talk about length and his ability to score, rebound. He was a great player for a bad team.
Trey Johnson, 6 from Texas. Jeremiah Fears, 11th from Oklahoma. Pettiford, 22. Walter Clayton Jr., 23rd. And Asa Newell of Georgia, 24. No LeBaron Philon or anyone else mentioned in the first round. That's just one. There's mock drafts everywhere. That's out there. Our friends at Johnston RV Center gets us to football. They'll get you to football games this season with a new ride.
Yeah, all over America. If you want to go see American and RV from Johnston RV Center, just see the SEC. It's your choice. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. They've got price ranges for everyone. Payments as low as $129 a month with approved credit. They've got the toy haulers, the pull-behinds, the fifth wheels, the motorhomes, all right there at Johnston RV. RV warranty forever. Make sure you're covered lifetime on anything new or qualifying pre-owned. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, 16 locations, convenient to you guys as you stay on top of your health. Prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomy, everything in between. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920. You know how bulletproof you feel when you're young. So much you need to stay on top of as you get older and older. Early detection can literally save your life. That's what Urology Centers of Alabama can do for you. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Okay, the end of spring football practice is happening on Saturday in Jordan-Hare and at Bryant-Denny. Jordan-Hare, we'll talk to Zac Blackerby coming up about Auburn at the top of the hour here. But for Alabama, the quarterback competition has been a big talking point this spring. Kalen DeBoer was asked on whether Ty Simpson being on the leadership council is an indication that he's now QB1.
No, I mean, that leadership group was voted on in early January. So it was before spring even started, and I would expect Ty to be on that. You know, he's been here, invested a lot. I would have voted for Ty to be on that in January as well. So he does a great job, really, taking advantage of knowing the guys that are on the team, helping them. He's obviously got to take care of his business, and he does. So, we ask guys to be leaders, and then when you take care of your business, bring someone with you, and he does a great job of that. I think, the other quarterbacks, continue to do it different ways. Keelan does it with his presence. He's not probably going to be as vocal yet, just hasn't been around long enough. And Austin's kind of in there as well, has really, because of the confidence and the things he's done, especially the middle half of last fall, where he started really kind of, showing the effort and energy that he would bring the team. I think he's gained a lot of confidence being a leader as well.
Okay, let me tell you what I've heard, and I'd love to hear what you've heard and what Aaron Suttles has told you with Bama and Bourbon and what you've heard, Brownie. Ty Simpson is like that comfortable blanket you have when you get home and you finally change into your comfy clothes. You want to watch a movie, you throw it over you as you lay on the couch and you kick back and enjoy a good movie and a cocktail. It's just comfortable. It's good. Everything right. Makes you feel good. Ty Simpson does everything right. He knows the offense. He's accurate. Puts the ball where it needs to go. I'm doing everything I can to say not game manager.
I mean, you're doing game manager.
Yeah,
what you're doing
but
right
he
there.
does
Yes.
everything
Okay.
right.
Coach on the field, scrappy.
Austin Mack has big moments, very inconsistent. And then there's the guy that's going to be hard to keep off the field, Keelan Russell. What are you guys hearing?
I've heard Keelan Russell is just an amazing talent. Probably a little too raw, a little too young right now. But we've seen freshman quarterbacks be able to step in. I mean, you saw Raiola last year for Nebraska. Not that it was, didn't lead to double-digit wins or anything.
He also wasn't playing with Alabama's roster.
The one thing I've heard about Ty Simpson is maybe a little inconsistent throwing the deep ball, which is interesting because Jalen Milroe, the one thing that he did extremely well outside of a run was throw the deep ball. I have heard that. You heard Reese Davis, and I've heard others say that Austin Mack can really, really spin it. And I've heard this is a true competition between all three, and it will go down to the wire. And I kind of said what Kalen DeBoer was saying about Ty Simpson when it got brought up last week.
Yeah, about the council, that would be QB1. Yeah.
That it's no surprise that he's been there that long. And what would be really surprising if a guy like Austin Mack was on that council.
Yeah.
Well, I like this Austin Mack throw, right? I mean, he throws a pretty ball, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does.
That
was a little behind that guy, but yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you got to throw it away from the defender, Jim. The defender was coming.
We're working on back shoulders.
I just said it was a pretty ball. Yeah. I'm not saying it was fat. I'm just saying it was pretty. Looks pretty. I mean, that's what Reese was talking about. It's pretty coming out of his hand.
I think it's picked on Sundays.
Yeah, I know. Look, guys, I'm not saying.
I know what you're saying.
It should be the starter. I'm just saying
that very, very tight spiral.
It is a pretty looking ball.
It pops out of his hand.
That was the Jarin Stevenson of shots, is what that was.
Hey, by the way, I heard Austin Mack is a little elusive or a little deceptive when you talk about the athleticism.
Yeah, faster than.
Yeah, like he can move a little bit for a guy that's got Melton's feet.
Because I think giraffes are surprisingly agile.
35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
A giraffe is almost as fast as Bullet and Chili.
Yeah. They've got a huge gait. I mean, they got very long legs. Giraffes do, obviously.
Do they?
Long tongue.
What about their necks, Brown? Long necks?
Yeah. They do, Jim. If
I miss Bob Uecker.
If Western Kentucky were the first game and not Florida State,
well, should Bama be concerned about Florida State? Go on.
Well, that was as bad a football team as there was in America last year. So and I know transfer portals can change things quickly, but boy, they would have had to load up in the transfer portal to improve. Yeah, but I mean, how much will they have to load up to improve from what that was a historically bad team last year?
Starting quarterback Tommy Castellanos. Good with his legs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Who calls...
Can't see over the offensive line, but, yeah, he can move.
Who beat Alabama last year? Jackson Arnold with his legs. Diego Pavia with his legs. I'm just saying, it's a tougher game. I mean, everyone's going to say Florida State sucks.
Well, they did.
Alabama wins the game. Tougher game than Alabama fans are going to expect.
Yeah, but headsets here, it's a mismatch.
Well, I'm just asking you, if it were Western Kentucky instead of Florida State, do you think they might consider Keelan Russell more in that situation?
I think you would see probably all three quarterbacks play.
Yeah.
I mean, you just figure Russell, like, if he doesn't start some games this year, he is going to be your starter next year, right? And you just figure with this talent and the upside that he's only going to be there for 3 years, so you don't worry about – you play him when you can play him or when you need to play him.
I just, if you're starting at Florida State, Jim, there's nobody that's got that experience. So it's not like, oh, we want the experienced starter. I think the question would be, so if it were a level playing field, like if they got to mid-August and Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb and Nick Sheridan sit down and like, all right, guys, who needs to start? And they all agree it's either Keelan or Ty Simpson or Keelan or Austin Mack. And then you're like, we're playing on the road at Florida State. Is that, and I know I've asked you this and I forget the answer. Is it full capacity now, Florida State, or is it still construction?
And every
Florida
time
State?
you ask me, I say I don't. I think it is, but I will check, and I never check.
Either way, I mean, you're on the road in an uncomfortable environment, but it's not like Ty Simpson has experience in that situation, right?
No.
I mean,
not at all.
If you remember, as I remember it, Blake Barnett got the start because Alabama felt like he'd been in the program long enough. He would be a little bit more comfortable in that situation against USC. It was clear that Jalen Hurts was pushing him. In hindsight, we didn't know it at the time. In hindsight, it was clear that Hurts was pushing him. But Blake Barnett has been in the system, Lance. He was kind of Ty Simpson. He's been in the system. He's got at least experience of watching it from the sidelines. Let's start him. How did that go?
Well,
it was terrible.
You guys tell me the last time Alabama began a season with a first-time starting quarterback. I mean, whoever starts, it's going to be their first collegiate start. And
that's right.
I mean, remind me, so obviously Milroe did it for a couple of years. Even going back 3 years ago, didn't Milroe start a game?
Yes. And because of the Bryce Young injury, he started Arkansas.
You know what's
he relieved in Arkansas.
Very easy to remember now.
Texas A&M. Yeah, he relieved in Arkansas because he got. Remember, Bryce Young got hurt, reached the first down.
Yeah,
he finished up the Arkansas game. He started the Texas A&M game.
I was going to say, who was the last Alabama quarterback to start his first game on a season opener? It was Bryce Young in 202021.
Yeah,
because remember
he was
like,
okay, by the way.
Yeah, this guy's got millions of dollars and he's never taken like, how good's he really going to be?
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah. Blake Barnett and Jalen Hurts shared basically the start against USC.
Yeah, well, that was the last we saw of Blake Barnett. It was over after that.
I had a choice to text the athletic director or season ticket holder at Florida State to ask the Doak question.
I think either of them could answer. I think the season ticket holder gets back to you quicker.
Yeah, I would go season ticket holder.
I went season ticket holder just out of courtesy. I thought it would be in.
Yeah, the athletic director, he's our buddy Michael Lawford. Now, Michael's been a friend of ours for a long time.
He's a wonderful guy.
But the Florida State athletic director he's probably spinning 30 plates right now, and Dunaway's text him, hey, is your stadium full capacity?
But I feel good that your buddy would get back to you sooner, and there is a possibility Alford would say, new phone, who dis?
No. He and I have texted a couple of times, and he listens to the show. And has invited us to come down. He can hook us up.
We didn't know that.
The Friday. I've told Brown.
Yeah, he told me.
You didn't tell me.
You were
Do you
not
want
in
to
the
go?
room.
You were going to go.
You were not in the room.
You wanted to be in Waco on Friday night. We can't be in Waco on Friday
No, but
night.
I would
Tallahassee
like-
on Sunday.
And Georgia Tech on Thursday.
If we got an invite to see, one of the traditional programs and see the ins and outs of Tallahassee, I'd be all about it.
According to Krusty, I've actually been to that stadium before. It's a cool stadium have y'all ever been there?
I've been on the outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On the outside, it's a cool stadium. Like on almost all the stadium, you can't even tell it's a football stadium.
No, yeah.
I think that campus, I've been on the campus a few times, has more Spanish moss than any other campus.
It does. A lot of that, yeah. All right, according in the chat, August 2025 is the scheduled completion, so it should be full capacity.
Yeah, well, one thing for sure, Michael Alford will keep them on task.
Oh, there's no doubt.
To be full capacity.
One of the great athletic directors in America.
You guys want to go?
Can
I
we make that our Facebook question of the day?
The same thing I pointed out. The same thing.
If you want a boring question.
What is our Facebook question of the day over on Facebook?
Well, because the Masters starting out today. I've never been to the Masters. I'm a casual golf fan. I love the majors. But everyone you talk to, I've never heard anybody, and I know you haven't been, but I think you would be in the same ballpark as everybody else. I've never heard anybody go, you know what? It was a little underwhelming. I've never heard that.
Jace, one of our great listeners, was there with Molly yesterday, his wonderful wife. They couldn't find the specific hat I wanted, but apparently they either don't exist or they were sold out.
Right.
He said it was the most unbelievable thing he's ever seen.
I've heard that from everyone. So the question was going to be, with the Masters starting today, if you could go to your bucket list sporting event, and you could even include your team, Game 7 World Series, Braves fans, Super Bowl Dolphins, Super Bowl Bucks, Alabama National Championship, whatever it is. You can go to your bucket list sporting event, but you have to miss your kid's graduation, high school graduation.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, here's the way I say it. I saw Leighton graduate. I want to see Jack graduate, but if it was a Rams Super Bowl,
I mean, that's wow. This is a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
At the moment that it's happening, the high school graduation is huge.
Right.
But they don't really know that you're there.
I don't remember my parents from that night.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah. But as time goes on, your high school graduation, kids, if you're watching this on
not
replay,
that important.
finish high school.
Oh, yeah, get your degree.
Get your degree.
Yeah.
But walking is not that important.
It just becomes less and less important as you go on. I'd rather you be at prom pictures and things like that than I would the actual graduation.
I remember we had big after party at the Red Roof Inn. We had rented a couple of rooms.
Yeah.
And that's all we're talking about. Who's going to pick up the beer and the liquor?
That's right. Oh, I've already got it in the trunk. Already got it in the trunk. Don't tell mom and dad. They're here for some reason.
And you guys, know this. I've been to high school graduations. I went to Jace's last year. They're painful.
Yeah.
You sit there through this whole ceremony to watch one person walk for 10 or 20 seconds.
The parents hate it. I can tell you that.
Forrester's daughter's graduating this year.
As the salutatorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different for him.
Senior night for Moody softball tonight. His wonderful daughter is out there. Forrester, you will agree with me this. She will remember when she is kissing you goodbye for the last time in your deathbed when you're 90.
Good gosh.
She will remember more.
Okay, I didn't know we were going here.
She will remember you more for all these batting practices and places you drove her all these years and the laughs you guys have had than graduation night. You agree or disagree?
I think her graduation night's going to be pretty memorable, given her, her role in it.
What is it, Forrester?
She's going to give a speech.
How come?
Because she's the salutatorian.
That's right. That's number 2.
Then you've got to be there for that.
Yeah.
So no White Sox World Series for you, my friend.
Yeah.
It is a little different, though. I do think your kid, Forrester aside, we don't want to put him on his deathbed yet, but if your kid was
some of you don't.
on their deathbed, I think that they would be like, Dad, I'm really glad you got to go to your bucket list sporting event.
That's true. Yep.
So I think the kid in that point of their life would be like, I'm really glad you got to go to your sporting event. Again, if you've only got one kid, if you've got a really smart kid like Forrester, they're going to give a speech different. For me, I think because I've seen one, and maybe I'm just saying this because I'm a couple of years away from it, but I think I would go Rams Super Bowl.
Okay, go over to Facebook, answer the question today on our Facebook account at Next Round Live. Before we do the viewing menu, brought to you by Michelson, I will tell you that our NASCAR Fast Answer Brownie, back from the season ticket holder, my buddy Brad Radisi, it'll be 79 to 81,000 seat capacity for the Alabama game, almost complete capacity. Best guess, they don't really know what the capacity is after renovation. He says it's going to be 79 to 81. A few price hikes, he says, as it comes with innovation. He invites us to drop by his tailgate.
Okay. Well, we've been invited twice now.
Some Brad, man. I hadn't seen that guy in a while. Is he still in Birmingham?
He is. Works at Sanford over there. NASCAR Fast.
The biggest, baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, ready to put on another amazing show in April. It is April 25th through 27th, the Talladega Super Speedway Jack Links 500 weekend. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action of every turn. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
And our Michelson viewing menu today brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make sure you ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
All right, we're going to start with something indoors if you want to watch some Netflix. Black Mirror Season 7 dropping today.
I didn't even know this.
All of it out there?
That is like a top 10 show for me all time. Yeah. It is fantastic. Did they do the sequel on
USS Callister, I believe? Yeah.
It's so good.
It is, very much. If you're a Star Trek fan and you like a little parallel there are 2 things I recommend. Galaxy Quest, if you've never seen it, and USS Callister on Black Mirror.
But Jesse Plemons played Kirk so well, didn't he? How cheesy he was.
And who would have thought out of Friday Night Night Lights that like Jesse Plemons would have become the guy.
The breakout star.
Yeah, the Taylor Kitsch guy was, everybody's like, this guy's a heartthrob, and everything he does is an absolute flop.
There you go. You have Drop in theaters, which is about a bad date. A widowed mother's first date in years takes a terrifying turn when she's bombarded with anonymous threatening messages on her phone during their upscale dinner, or as Jim calls it, foreplay.
I like it. That is so true. That is so true.
And then we have Warfare as well, a platoon of Navy SEALs embarking on a dangerous mission in Iraq with the chaos and brotherhood of war retold through their memories of the event. One thing that's interesting about this is it was directed by an actual Iraqi war veteran there.
Oh, wow.
Will Poulter is in this one, and you have Joseph Quinn as well. And James Gandolfini's son, Michael, is in this.
Oh, wow.
So it's directed by Alex Garland, who last
Civil War.
Did Civil War. This is co-written by the Iraqi war veteran, but I was really disappointed with Civil War, so I'm hoping Warfare's a little bit better.
I agree. I thought Civil War was okay. Have you seen Black Bag? I might watch that tonight.
I have not seen Black Bag yet, no. It looks boring.
All right, that's our Michelson Laser Vision viewing menu of the day. Zac Blackerby coming up in the next segment. Our Vulcan Tire and Automotive Masters update on the leaderboard. LT.
Vulcan Automotive, stop into one of those great locations. You're getting on the road, whether you're heading over to Augusta, you're heading to the beach for the weekend. Make sure your car is properly serviced, bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they can handle that. Great locations all over Birmingham. Very important. Mention the next round. Guaranteed best tire pricing in all of Birmingham. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Aaron Rye, he wears 2 gloves and has iron covers. It's the weirdest thing, but he's the leader right now. 3 under through 7 has him tied with Joaquin Neiman. 3 under through 4. Some of your bigger names that are on the course right now: Scotty Scheffler, 1 under through 2. Jordan Spieth birdied the first, so he also is 1 under.
Auburn's Zac Blackerby from the barn, Auburn.com. Where has Auburn improved the most? Next on the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you: Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com. The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
These open practices that used to be A-Day games could actually show us more than we actually saw in the games. We'll talk to Zac Blackerby about that coming up. The show being brought to you by Actual Football back in Birmingham. They unveil another championship banner this weekend at Protective Stadium, Brownie.
Yeah, the Stallions are back in town with the UFL. You can go catch the Stallions. Stallions. I don't know why I said it that way. Go catch the Stallions.
Did you notice the T-shirt Bronny had on?
I did. She was wearing
a
Stallions T-shirt.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just a little red with this stallion head on it.
That's right. The post-game fireworks, 7 o'clock is the kick. Tickets are available, UFLstallions.com, UFLstallions.com. You can pack protective for the Stallions. Get tickets now, UFLstallions.com. Let's talk some Auburn spring football. We did Alabama yesterday with Clint Lamb. Here is Zac Blackerby, thebarnauburn.com. Thebarnauburn.com is the website to see all Zach's work. What is up, Zach? How are you today?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Doing awesome, man. You good?
Yeah. Making it on a very little sleep with the third kiddo just entering the world a few weeks ago, but happy to be with you guys.
Dad, what are the ages on your 3 kids?
Can I guess? Can I guess? I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, guess away. Sure.
I'm gonna guess. Yeah. I'm gonna say 5, 2, and 1. 5, 2, and just born. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like a month off, so like almost 5, 2, and just born. So yeah, you're really close.
Boy, that is
man.
Thebarnauburn.com. I'm one of those. I'm a
that is some work, my friend. 3 car seats. My gosh.
Yeah, no, we had to. We upgraded to a minivan a few months ago. We felt like we had to. Yeah, so we're a minivan family now. Yep.
Hey, nothing says sexy like a minivan, man.
Hey, nothing says convenience though, man. Like, it's so practical. It's crazy.
Listen to him. Hey, Chili Palmer had one in Get Shorty, Cadillac of minivans. We talked about this Baylor-Auburn number last week, and it's going to be right around a pick. And you know, before we get into personnel and all of that, I mean, this is one of those games that if you win it, it's great. But man, what a dangerous game for a team that really needs to get off to a great September start.
Yeah. Auburn going to Baylor, I think, is super tricky, and I think it's a game that a lot of Auburn fans might be overlooking. And I mean, we've got months to kind of recalibrate and all that, but yeah, it's 1.5, right?
Yeah.
And right now, like I don't know which direction I would go with that. Right now, I would almost lean Baylor. I feel like I like Baylor in that situation. But you're right. I mean, if Auburn loses this game, I mean, everybody's talking about what Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers need to do to, you know, take that next step forward with what he's trying to do with this rebuild of Auburn football. Losing that game really, really makes it a lot tougher and puts you behind the 8 ball, for sure.
Listen, all these great receivers from the previous class and you still get, and help me if I get this right, Sam Turner, number 18. Every time I see highlights from practice that they send it out at Auburn, this kid's making a catch. Is there room for another receiver to make it, or make it a rotation? What do you think of this Sam Turner kid?
Yeah. So Brad Law and I talked about this a ton on yesterday's Village Vice. Like, how many relevant receivers can there be in this offense? And right now, I think that number's 5. I think Sam Turner is part of that. Then obviously they went out and got Horatio Fields. It sounds like he's having a good spring too. But Sam Turner, man, you can't talk to anybody that's at these practices or within this program or guys in the locker room without them bringing up Sam Turner. I mean, I asked about the defensive line to a source last week, and they somehow also brought up Sam Turner. People can't quit talking about Sam Turner. So, I mean, they're posting the highlights on there too. Like, there's proof that he's achieving, these things that they're talking about. So definitely a name to watch.
But one of those guys that is a proven commodity, Eric Singleton. Like, if you were looking at one guy to get the majority of touches, would Singleton be that guy?
Yeah. If I had to pick who leads Auburn in receptions, I would say Eric Singleton. Maybe not yards, maybe not touchdowns, but I do think Eric Singleton's a guy who can do it all. And when you have 4 or 5 receivers that you like, you got to think about, like, okay, well, how can all of these guys play? Because, like, I think Singleton and Malcolm Simmons are pretty similar players, and I think Malcolm learning under Singleton is going to be huge for his long-term development, because I think that's kind of what the next step is for Malcolm. So the question is, like, can both those guys be on the field at the same time? Because they're so similar, and I think they will be. But Singleton's a guy that can play slot. He can play outside. That's what he did at Georgia Tech. And so I just think the overall targets and the overall snap counts for Singleton will definitely put him in that conversation as far as, who gets the most touches for Auburn receivers. Absolutely.
Zac Blackerby is with us at Z Blackerby on social media. You see him at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. Great time to go enjoy their content, looking back at basketball, some baseball content there for Auburn baseball, which is nationally ranked. And, of course, Auburn spring football, and sign up there at thebarnauburn.com. I mean, the obvious next step, we've talked a lot about receivers here, but somebody's got to get them the ball. Yeah. Jackson Arnold's supposed to be that guy. From what you can gather, what has been the first impression in the spring of Jackson Arnold?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jackson Arnold's doing what he needs to do. I think the conversation's been more about Deuce Knight, the 5-star true freshman, just because I do think Deuce Knight is the more electric, maybe the more polarizing athlete in that room. But I do think Jackson Arnold will ultimately win this job. There are a lot of folks that think it's close. And if it's close, who does the tiebreaker go to? It's probably going to go to the older guy, the more experienced guy, especially when Auburn starts the season on the road in Waco against that Baylor team that we just talked about. So to me, like, I wanted to hear more good things about Jackson than we have so far. But right now, it seems like everybody wants to talk about Deuce Knight, and it sounds like Deuce Knight has shocked a lot of people.
Oh, wow.
If I took quarterback off the table, where is Auburn the most improved, do you think, from what we saw at the end of last year? What unit are they most improved at?
I mean, I think it's receiver, but since we already talked about receiver, I'll give you another one. I mean, I think Auburn in their defensive back room, specifically cornerback, I think they'll have one of the best cornerback rooms in the SEC. I mean, I think super highly of Jay Crawford, who was a true freshman a year ago. I think super highly of Kayan Lee, who's going into his 3rd season at Auburn. We saw his first full season as a starter last year. I thought he was exceptional. But then, they go out and get Ryan Strader, who had a heck of a ton of pass breakups at Miami of Ohio last year. PFF loves him. The analytics love him. And then Champ Anthony, who was balling out before he got hurt and, suffered that season-ending injury a year ago. Auburn's deep at corner, and we're not even mentioning some of these top corners that they got as true freshmen. Blake Woodby, one of the top corners in this class. It sounds like he's having a really good spring as well. So I would say Auburn's cornerback room, I think they're going to be really good, guys.
So we did offense, defense, little special teams here. The GI issue, Alex McPherson was out a good majority of the year. You never knew when he was going to play, and when Towns Magoo would come in, it was quite the up and down experience. Where is Alex McPherson? Should he be 100% healthy? Does he have his confidence back?
I hope so. I mean, it doesn't look like he's gained a ton of weight, which, I mean, I know it doesn't mean much for a kicker, but just as far as like him as a human, like you want him to be healthy and back, as close to 100% as we possibly can. But I mean, I do think Auburn kind of hedged their bets a little bit. One, they held on to Towns Magoo, who I don't know why we do this, but sometimes I think we view kicker as a different position. It's like, oh, well, you're just going out there to kick it. But like Towns Magoo still was a freshman. And being a freshman at any position in the SEC is tough, especially when, I think there's even little added pressure when you're kicking those key field goals. And I mean, look, if Auburn would have made a few of those, I think they would have been probably 2 more wins on the season. But they also went out and got Connor Gibbs from Southern Miss. So I mean, they've got 3 options that I think are all solid. But obviously, the goal is for Alex McPherson to get healthy, but I haven't heard anything definitive on that, guys.
Zach, I'm going to tell everybody about my bookie real quick. Have Auburn's schedule. You know the game. Have Auburn's schedule handy because I want to ask you a schedule question that we discussed yesterday. MyBookie.ag code next round is what we're talking about. So you go sign up right now with code next round and get a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000. And a $10 casino chip right now. You can play the Masters there, Major League Baseball, the NBA, all of that right there. Even bet on futures in college football as we talk about Auburn. MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round. Get that 50% deposit bonus and a $10 casino chip. All right. We were discussing, and we were just asked the question in the chat room, or I can't remember how it came up, Hugh Freeze's signature win at Auburn. We all agreed, I guess it had to be last year's Texas A&M team. That A&M,
has to be.
Yeah, I mean, that was his only ranked win. The A&M team couldn't finish the deal. There have been a lot of close losses. Where is the signature win, do you think, for Auburn? Now, obviously, Georgia or Alabama would be it. But if it's not one of those two, where is it in this upcoming schedule, do you think?
I think if you get either one, I think at Baylor has a chance to be. I think Baylor's not going to be. I think they're going to be a solid team this year. But either of those other road games in the first half of the schedule, I think at Oklahoma is super tricky. I think at Texas A&M is super tricky. And then maybe Missouri at home. Like, is Missouri going to be able to maintain what they've been doing? Like, they're losing a ton. They're losing a ton, and a lot of those guys are about to get drafted. So I don't know if I want to put that one up there. Then, like, your other opportunities, like, okay, like you should beat Vandy at Vandy, even though you couldn't beat them at home last year. Like, you should beat Arkansas on the road. Like, okay, even though you couldn't beat them at home last year. You should beat Kentucky at home. You did beat them on the road last year. So to me, it's got to be one of those road games, or obviously against one of your 2 big rivals.
Wow.
Okay, because I asked about Alex McPherson's health, the obvious Hugh Freeze seemed like in good spirits. Seemed to be normal day-to-day stuff for you right now.
Yeah. Everything I've heard is it's been taken care of, caught it at an appropriate time, and the proper steps are being taken care of. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Hugh Freeze has been pretty public about it, and it seems like everything's headed in the right direction. So obviously that's all we can hope for.
One more football before you get out of here, man. That defensive line, DJ Durkin, I just love that guy as a coach. Thought he did a tremendous job. Big keep for Auburn, up in his salary and everything. We know the star's back on defense. Tell me about Crawford, that weird jersey number 24, and what he's been showing you in camp so far.
Yeah, I dropped a note on Kieran Crawford at thebarnauburn.com a few days ago. It sounds like he, at times, has been unreal, very, very hard to block, to the point where they're having to rotate tackles to give guys different opportunities to see if they can block Kieran Crawford. And we kind of saw this pattern with J-Mac last year. J-Mac comes from App State. He kind of waits in the wings, and then when it was his turn to shine, he did it. Kieran Crawford, same thing. Comes from Arkansas State, was kind of the number 2 guy, and now it's his time to shine. So it seems like that pattern is working for the Tigers, but it's not just Kieran. And I think Kieran's going to be in a different situation than J-Mac was, where I don't think you're ever going to be able to double Kieran because of what Keldrick Falk is demanding. Amaris Williams has taken a big step forward based on the people that I've talked to. Chris Murray, the edge transfer from Sam Houston State, which Sam Houston is not a state. Need to stress that. But it sounds like it sounds like he's been effective in coverage. Sounds like he got a pick 6 and some red zone work a few practices ago. And then Jared Smith, the true freshman. It sounds like he's kind of doing everything he can to say, hey, like I know there's a lot of edge guys, but I'm worthy of playing time day one. So Auburn should be pretty good when it comes to pass rusher this year.
All right, thebarnauburn.com. Zach mentioned he dropped a note there. You can get all the coverage there, thebarnauburn.com.
Can I make a point?
Real quick, the Barn Auburn YouTube channel also has a ton of great content there with Zach and Brad Law, Kyle. I mean, it's really, really good stuff.
This is, like you may say, Jim. Dang, man, he was asking good questions.
You were?
That you may be saying that in the chat room.
Somebody might say that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in the chat room yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I go to thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com, and I took notes. I watched and read at thebarnauburn.com
Got your little notebook.
to where I even know that Xavier's looking good at left tackle. I can't read my writing in his last name, but Xavier's looking really good at left tackle coming from Virginia Tech. I know that already. I know that he's not out there because of that shoulder is being cleaned up, but he's going to be good at left tackle. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, so I got all that at thebarnauburn.com.
Okay. You can do the
They
same.
call that show prep in the biz, right?
No, I did that on my free time the other night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, tell him the McElroy stat that you came across.
Yeah, Roy McElroy. See if Zach knows it.
Roy McElroy, I don't know what it he's 42.5%.
Show prep here, Zach.
42.5% something at Augusta. And the winner averages at 52.5% of something. I forgot to write down what the something was, Zach.
So we don't know.
Yeah, we think it might be shit's the bed on the back nine, but
Rory is 10 off of that.
Sounds significant.
I mean, that sounds like a great stat. I can't wait till you finish it.
Are you giving me an incomplete?
Yeah, I think so.
You're a tough teacher when you don't sleep, man. You're a tough teacher when you don't sleep.
Zach, thank you, buddy. Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Zac Blackerby, thebarnauburn.com. He was with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline, the Shunnarah Hotline, bringing you Zac Blackerby from thebarnauburn.com.
And also being brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap, man. What an opportunity to change your home forever. I've got roofers working in my neighborhood, and I see them up there on the roof, and for some reason, they're having to clean out a gutter as they start to redo roofing up there. And I think to myself, why in the world are you cleaning out a gutter in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, here's the simple facts. I mean, Gutter Cap, patented aluminum cover system. They're going to come in, they're going to install it. You're never going to have to clean the gutters again. It will keep the gutters clean and free-flowing. Patented aluminum cover system only allows water inside. Our man, Chris Stewart, 22 years in business, over 20 A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Chris Stewart, the owner, honored to serve on the board of directors for the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of satisfied customers. No pressure, no BS approach. Special discounted price for mentioning the next round. Lifetime warranty on clog-free performance. Free estimate, general liability and workers' compensation insurance. Call this number. Tell C. Stu the guys from the next round sent you. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
And 4 Downs Every Day brought to you by our friends at Bojangles Brownie.
You never, again, at least for a limited time, have to pick between sweet and savory for breakfast. Bojangles has both the Bojangles chicken and Bo-Berry waffles. Bojangles signature Cajun chicken filet, drizzle with a Bo-Berry glaze sandwich between warm waffles, available for a limited time. It's Bo time.
All right.
First down.
LT has our 4 Downs today because Tyler's taking a little vacation day. Is this post-date vacation?
Oh, I didn't think about that, Melvin. Is that what this is?
Or is it pre-date vacation?
This is post-date vacation from what I've heard, but you know what? God Talk stays with the fellas here.
Yeah.
So.
Is he hooked up to an IV right now?
I don't know.
So, date last night, and Tyler is scheduled off day. He didn't call you like...
Hey, and I'll tell you he was up early because I texted him early about 4 Downs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or had he not gone to bed yet?
That's what I'm saying.
Either way. Wow.
Okay, did we hit first down?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Roy McElroy, talking about him earlier. If I put his majors wins moving forward at 1.5. Would you go over 1.5 or under 1.5? Again, it's been 11 years since he's won one.
I watched Poppy, his 4-year-old daughter, drain a putt.
That was beautiful.
A beautiful putt. She got that ball rolling, and it rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled. Dropped an emotional moment yesterday in the par 3.
She named after David Ortiz?
Listen, I think 35 is the new 25 on the PGA Tour. I think there's going to be a point where Rory starts to handle the pressure of these majors, specifically at Augusta, better. I think eventually he wins one at Augusta, just not this weekend because of the 42.5% stat that I keep throwing out. But eventually he'll win one in Augusta. I'm going to go over. He wins a PGA, he wins a U.S. Open or a British again, so over 1.5.
I think you're saying the same thing I was going to say is he'll win another one, and then I think it'll come in another small bunch after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got 4 career. I could see him getting to 7 career.
Because I'm right on 35, right?
Yeah,
that's his
I think
age.
that's right. And so he's got a really solid 10 to 15 more years.
Can you imagine if he never won another one?
Oh,
though?
it would be shocking, honestly. Without injury, without like significant injury like
Because
Tiger.
when he won his last 11 years ago, were we not talking about, look, he's not going to catch Tiger, but I think when it's all said and done, Roy could be a top 3 golfer of all time. I remember that conversation was legitimate, right?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, he won 4 very, very early.
He was a better golfer when he was dating Carol Wozniacki or whatever
Caroline Wozniacki?
Yeah, the tennis player.
I don't think he can go back to that. J.J. Watt wouldn't.
No.
Is J.J. Watt still with her?
No, it's the Miller kid or whatever, the basketball player.
Mike Miller?
No, different one.
Dave Miller.
Yeah, he played.
Was he a Florida Gator?
No, that's Mike Miller.
Yeah,
it's a different Miller, and I cannot say his first name.
But they're married with kids now. He can't go back, and he's got a perfectly great wife.
Yeah, he's married with a kid himself.
Yeah.
Second down.
Probably loves her too much, is why he's gone.
David
why he's
Lee.
42. Why he's 42.5.
David Lee had an opportunity SEC Media Days years ago to interview. Good kid. Okay, Scotty Scheffler, who, by the way, already 2 under through 4.
That's right.
This
guy
kid
plays
is
this course amazing.
He really does.
Scheffler, by the way, 55.5% on whatever.
That Roy was not. He was.
Okay, I'm going to squeeze this question a little bit. I'm going 1.5 green jackets moving forward. He's already got 2.
I take the over.
Oh, over.
Yeah, he is
You
young.
guys act like they're just hanging on a tree. That means 4. How many guys have got 4 Masters, Jack?
Jack has 6. Tiger's got 4. That should be it.
Yeah,
that's the list.
So that would put him right there with Tiger as one of the greatest to ever play this course.
I'm just saying this course and his iron game, Brown, it's not just about hitting greens. Correct me if I'm wrong. From what I read, it's about hitting greens at a specific location below the hole.
The effective size of the greens is very, very small. That's what you're saying. You've got large greens, but the place you really want to hit it is extremely
You think it flies
small.
over the 1.5?
I don't say fly over.
Yeah, I think he at least wins 2. And I think one of them's this weekend and then another one down the road. Precision with the iron, being able to hit the iron shot where you want to on these greens. I don't think there's anybody better, I'm told, on tour right now, precision with irons than Scotty Scheffler.
Perfect timing, off 5. He just hit somebody in the gallery.
One of the patrons, Lance.
He popped an Achilles, probably.
Please, one of the patrons. I would take the over on this.
I would
that
too.
guy's got a lot of career left, and he plays this course amazing.
Yeah.
Third down.
And this is one of the majors he's never been arrested trying to get into.
That's a great point.
Steven Seagal, 73 years old. If I ask you guys, melt and chime in, best action movie star of all time. You know, back in the late 80s, Steven Seagal was that guy where I was like, this dude's a badass, above the law, hard to kill.
I mean, you guys are going to make a case for Jackie Chan again?
No.
Not really.
Okay, good.
I can't make. I mean, you can make a case for Tom Cruise.
I was
but
about to say, why are we not talking about Tom Cruise?
He's 65, running around.
I mean, Bruce Lee's not an. He never acted though.
That was more martial arts movies.
He didn't really
acted.
say anything.
Going Harrison Ford on this.
Oh my!
He's part of way too many franchises. He's got Air Force One, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
And do you put all the Tom Clancy stuff he did in there? Yeah, I mean that's an action movie. Yeah.
Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
Okay.
You make a good point.
You know, watching him limp around. Of course, he's 80 years old in 1923.
People are watching it.
No, yeah. No, he's. I mean, he's a very likable guy too.
I'm going to go Tom Cruise.
I think Bruce Willis was good for a while, right?
Scotty went Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. I see what you did there.
Do you know how old Chuck Norris is, by the way?
I'm going to say he's 84.
He's 85.
85. Ooh. Born in 1940. Think about that.
That's inside my window.
It is. You got it very, very close.
My window's different than LT. My window's is I know who that guy is.
4th down.
John Madden would have been 89. And I think, initially you guys are going to jump and say that's easy, but I don't know if it is. But if I went John Madden or Nick Saban, greater career. Now, Nick Saban, I think we all agree, is the best head coach in college football history.
Madden,
no debating.
Madden won a Super Bowl. Here's what's crazy about Madden that will never be replicated. He did something that nobody else will ever do again. He was the lead NFL analyst on all 4 major networks.
Yeah, that will never happen.
I mean, that just will never, ever happen again.
I didn't even realize that. I realized CBS, Fox, I guess Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football and then NBC.
I guess I don't remember the NBC.
You don't remember him doing NBC? It was right when NBC got it back. John Madden and Al Michaels.
I'm not doubting you. I just don't really remember.
What am I doing?
I don't remember him doing Monday Night Football.
You don't remember him doing Monday Night Football?
I don't.
He did.
Yeah, won a Super Bowl. The thing about Madden is it's like his own chapter in football.
Would have won.
And I think the game has something to do with that.
Would have won a lot more if it wasn't for the great Pittsburgh Steelers. That was the dynasty standing in his way.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was 9-7 as a postseason head coach, and he did win the one Super Bowl.
How many times did the Steelers eliminate him?
I don't have that in front of me, but a lot, it seemed like.
Yeah.
So he was CBS 79-93, Fox 94-2001, Monday Night Football 2002-2005, and NBC 2006-2008. Basically, once he and Al Michaels linked up on Monday Night Football, they moved to NBC together.
He became a head coach in 1969 at the age of 32. At that point, the AFL, NFL's youngest head coach. His first squad, 12-1-1, but lost 17-7 in the first ever, or the last ever, AFL championship game to the Chiefs.
He lost the AFL Super Bowl, basically, to Lynn Dawson and them.
Yeah, here we go. In their third straight battle with the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, Madden's Raiders finally defeated their nemesis to reach the Super Bowl, and that's when they won their only title under Madden over the Vikings. So, yeah, I mean, 2 other times they were eliminated in the NFC Championship.
Remember, one of those was the Immaculate Reception.
Which I think was the Steelers' first ever.
Yeah, that's what got him. That Raiders team was going to the Super Bowl, and then that play happened.
Yeah. Was that in the AFC Championship or was that the divisional?
AFC Championship game, I'm pretty sure.
Was it?
Yeah, and him and Al Davis both built that team, and 2 years after he retired from Oakland, they won it again. So, Tom Flores, give him credit, but at the same time, if Madden doesn't leave, I think he probably still wins Super Bowl at that point, 15.
I'll go Madden because of the broadcasting that he did.
And the game, right?
Yeah, and that Tyler points that out. Tyler in the chat room, off today. Still waiting on the Saban video game. Forrester says still waiting on the Daniel A. Moore Madden painting. So
is he having to explain this to his date right now? What chat room are you on?
He did clear up the date was Monday, so he's still not hungover from the date.
He went on a date Monday?
Yeah. Well, we got did you get an update on this, Melton?
I've got all the details,
But it seemed like that was yesterday we were talking about the date, or Tuesday.
Yeah, we probably should have made this a little bit bigger.
I want an update, dadgummit.
And I'm not going to say it's one and done, but
no.
Yep. Next one.
That's
was that 4?
That's it.
That was 4.
4 downs brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, you no longer have to pick between savory and sweet at Bojangles. You get them both for a limited time. It's every single breakfast right there at Bojangles. Sweet and savory, it's bow time.
Did you take Madden?
I think I would go Madden.
I think I would go Madden, but boy,
that broadcast career is hard.
And Saban still has an opportunity to catch up on the broadcast.
Maybe so.
Look, Madden was in Little Giants. That is the tiebreaker
that's
right there.
Yeah.
So
Saban was in The Blind Side.
Oh, yeah.
The
show off script.
Ed Orgeron was better in that movie.
Show being brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of them is our friends at ImageCraft. Tell us about ImageCraft.
Yeah, they want you to print more and spend less at ImageCraft. The way you're going to spend less is by saving on your supplies. And you know how quick those can add up, printer and copier supplies. They got all the major brands, HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh Sharp, Xerox. They offer free same-day delivery on all in-stock items in the Birmingham Metro, free shipping outside of Birmingham. Run right in there in the Gadsden Highway Trustful location, just down from Pinnacle Shopping Center. Tell them you heard it on the next round or saw it on the next round. You save 10%. Go to imagecraft.net and just enter code TNR10. You save 10%. ImageCraft, Print more, spend less.
Fantastic spring weather, along with the Masters starting up. You need to head to one of the 2 locations of the New York Butcher Shop, pick up a couple of steaks. You and the wife grill them out tonight. Sit back, watch all the highlights, get prepared for round 2 and the weekend that is Augusta. Fresh meat, specialty items, those huge deli sandwiches, great selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Cahaba Heights. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway, is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Discuss a little NFL in a second, but I want to get to some SEC football here. after Brownie gives us a Vulcan Tire and Automotive Masters update. LT?
Great locations throughout Birmingham. Make sure you mention the next round. They're going to make sure, guaranteed, best tire pricing in all of Birmingham. Make sure that vehicle is ready. Service, bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. They've got the best tire prices guaranteed. Stop into one of those locations for more information. VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Aaron Rye just shot a 32. Did he do that on the front nine, Dunaway, or did he do it on the first nine?
It was the first nine.
He did it on the first nine, and he is your leader. Scotty Scheffler, 2 under through 4. Just looking at some bigger names out there. Jordan Spieth, 1 under through 4. Colin Morikawa, even. He has parred every hole thus far through 6. So those are some of your Phil Mickelson, 1 over. Some of your bigger names out there. Justin Thomas, 1 over through 5.
Yeah, that's a nice, good start. It's a good place to be right here. Let's do our college football spotlight. We're going to look at SEC win totals updated yesterday by Little T on our social media platform.
The College Football Spotlight.
Shunnarah Spotlight presented each day by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah. Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys, elite attorneys that have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. His mission, create a firm that can handle any issue his community face. He has done that. If you're in need of a lawyer, call Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
So used to the greatness of SEC basketball, we're still in the afterglow of 14 NCAA tournament teams, half the Final Four, half the Elite Eight, 7 of the Sweet 16, the national champion. Then I look at these win totals updated, and it seems very average for the Southeastern Conference. Forrester, if you can show it to me that Taylor put this out yesterday at Next Round Live. Follow us on all the platforms. The win totals, nobody in double digits.
Wait, even the Georgia Bulldogs?
Yeah, we're 9.5s everywhere. The best in the SEC, 9.5 win total for Alabama, 9.5 for Georgia, 9.5 for Tennessee, 9.5 for Texas. What's going on?
Well, you had 4 teams in the SEC that eclipsed that last year. Now that includes postseason. I just think it's going to be really difficult moving forward, especially in this conference, for teams to go undefeated. And that number used to be 10.5, and it would give you the 1 loss. And if you took the over, you could still have absorbed that 1 loss. And now it's back down to 2 because it's just become more difficult.
Yeah, but 10-2 gives me a winner, so I can absorb 2 losses and still go in the over.
Okay,
here.
so you tell me the team that you feel really good about only losing 2 games. Just tell me, and I'll tell you, and we'll look at that schedule.
I would say Texas, and I would say Georgia.
Okay, we'll start with Texas,
who had a very favorable schedule last year, by the way, and
they probably open with a loss.
Wow, at Ohio State.
Yeah, so then you've got, I'm just saying that Ohio State's going to be favored,
no,
but if you go that direction, then you got to go unscathed the rest of the year, and you've still got your Oklahoma rivalry. You got to go to Florida. You've got to go to Georgia, and you got A&M.
Yeah.
Georgia, I can lose 1 more still and hit. Okay.
But do you feel good about that?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And then there's Georgia,
who had a very favorable schedule last year as well. Now, they talked a lot about the games they had to play on the road. What they did not talk about was the amount of non-bowl eligible teams from the year previous they played.
Yeah.
But all those road games flip back to home. So
that includes Alabama
at Tennessee.
See that, and that's when the games get that's maybe their trickiest game
at Tennessee.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. After a bye week, Alabama at home. At Auburn, which last time they went down there was tough.
It's going to be a difficult game.
It's a tough place to play at Jordan-Hare. For Georgia and Alabama, it always seems like it's a little bit tougher on them in Jordan-Hare, obviously. Ole Miss at home, Texas at home, and then Florida at a neutral site if you think Florida's going to be
I do feel better about Georgia based on the fact that Georgia, I don't think will be an underdog in any of these games, even in Knoxville.
Well, I feel better about Texas than I do Georgia.
See, I feel better about Georgia.
Because I know who's quarterback in Texas.
Well, Texas has to play at Ohio State and at Georgia.
Yeah, but do you really know who's quarterbacking Texas?
I do. It's
you know his
Manning.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, but how good do you think he's going to be?
Well, I've seen Peyton Manning. I've seen Eli Manning. I've never seen a bad quarterback named Manning.
You have not. You're right.
Texas is going to be they're going to be underdogs in 2 games, though. That's what. So to me, if you just lose those 2 games and you win everything else, you slip by and you get it. But if Georgia takes care of business in all their games, which I don't think they go undefeated, but I feel pretty good about the over 9.5 for Georgia.
Tennessee at 9.5 is wild to me. I mean, let's look at Tennessee real quick at 9.5. They open against Syracuse. That's nothing. But they play host to Georgia. They have to go to Alabama and go to Florida. They still play Oklahoma at home, Arkansas at home. They're at Kentucky. It's a game that they've owned. They're at State. I mean, it is a manageable looking schedule, but 9.5, man, that's a lot of wins for Tennessee.
It's a lot of wins, and you heard Clay on the show on Tuesday talking about Nico is viewed as maybe a top 5 guy.
That blew me away, by the way.
I've never seen anything that even is close to a semblance of a guy that looks like a first-round guy from Nico.
By the way, nor have I seen him projected that way. I don't know where Clay is looking at. If that was Clay's projected mock draft.
Was he saying top 5 pick or top 5 quarterback?
Top 5 pick.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah, because his point was if Nico plays like a top 5 guy, then Tennessee will be back in the college football playoff.
Charles is doing the opposite of you that way. He goes, the Mannings are due a bad quarterback. They've had all those good ones in a row. They're due a bad one.
Hey, they really are. I mean, like, think about great sports families. Did we ever get a dud?
Out of, I mean, there's not that many families.
Scottie Pippen's son is at another school. He's at Cal basketball now. I just saw him transfer. Michael Jordan's kids.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about great sports families because the Mannings would be the top.
There's not another family that's close. I mean, who's the other family?
Who are we talking about? The Woods?
The Watts.
I mean, did the Williams have a sister that was no good at tennis?
Serena Venus. And then
Tiger. I would bet on Charlie right now at one point being on the tour.
I wouldn't. I'd actually bet against it. Yeah.
I'd bet on him being on the tour. I don't know how good he'll be.
I mean, the odds would tell you to bet against it. You're going against the odds to bet that he's on the tour. But that's my point, is you just don't normally have families.
The one thing, does he have that Tiger killer instinct?
Well, probably not.
Because, Tiger grew up.
Because it's pretty rare.
I remember reading an article on Greg Norman, and he was talking about, gambling and like didn't have money to gamble, and it's what really taught him about pressure and playing through pressure. I mean, that's the thing, like, Charlie Woods is never going to have pressure. I guess you got the pressure of living up to your dad, but that's a little bit different.
That's actually negative pressure, yeah. Again, you just don't see families like that with the Mannings.
Yeah. That's our Spotlight today, brought to you by our buddy Alexander Shunnarah.
You don't pay unless they win your case. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, use our local guy, Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com.
I know it's a fear for a lot of guys. You start thinning out. You're like, what in the heck am I going to do? I'm going bald. You need to call Dr. Beckenstein. You never know what this guy can do for you. Dunaway talked to him. He said, hey, a little too late in the game. Me and Brown talked to him. He said, I think we can at least maintain. Not only have I maintained, I've been able to grow some back. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. They've got that new test T3 does. It's easy, it's painless, it's affordable. It takes only 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Dr. Beckenstein, for more than 20 years, women and men have turned to him for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today. Very important. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. For more information, t3hair.net.
And our friends at New Life Art, they give you all the great works from Daniel A. Moore. DanielMooreArt.com. That's the legend right there, Nick Saban. It's also the painting, the legend. 6 national championship trophies. Hard to believe. 6 national championship trophies right there. I saw the introductory news conference yesterday. It was floating around on TikTok on my algorithm. And watching Mal Moore introduce Nick Saban again, it was going to be great days ahead for Alabama football, Mal Moore said. Boy, was it. 6 national championships. You can relive that with that painting right there, the legend. DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Promo code TNR. Not all college football coaches want to change the spring. Not all college football coaches want to play somebody else for a spring game. Not all college football coaches want to have combined practices with other teams. Here is Mike Elko, who isn't a fan of the idea of a joint practice like the NFL does.
I think it's extremely challenging in college football to do things like that. I think, one, that it's wild that nobody's discussing is class. I'm not exactly sure how you can do a joint practice for a week while your kids are in class. I'd have a heck of a time trying to convince my kids to go to Lubbock or Waco or anywhere during spring break. So I don't know how fired up they would be about any of those opportunities, and that's no disrespect to those cities. But so that part of it is a challenge. I think in college, so many programs have different philosophies of what practice looks like, how you protect players, how you take care of players, like how you actually go about practicing. You'd want to make sure and try to identify that you found somebody who philosophically was on the same page as you. Then if you end it all with a game, then to me that pulls away a little bit from a development standpoint what you're trying to get done in the spring, because the second we have to play a game, then obviously we have to win, or you guys are all mad at me.
I would, on the class thing, and I get a coach bringing that up, and people are going to say, yeah. I will point out that Duke, Auburn, Houston, and Florida just played 3 consecutive weeks of basketball, and I will guarantee you they missed more
backpacks. Man,
they miss more class than this would miss. There's zero doubt about it. Nobody bats an eye. In fact, we celebrate it.
I rarely hear class ever mentioned anytime, anywhere, anymore, ever.
I saw this TikTok, and we can't use it because it's of a copyright issue. And it was, I think The Athletic had a reporter in the Florida locker room saying, hey, man, you guys just won the championship. What's your next class when you go back to school? I don't know if they were just playing along, if it was a bit or whatever, but the amount of guys that couldn't tell you the next class they had. And then a lot of them were like, well, I'm online only. I don't have to go to class when I get back. And one was like,
it's
yeah, I mean, it's
not even part of the conversation.
It was pretty laughable, honestly.
I still have, and it's a recurring dream, and it's once a week where I end up showing up at a class for a test, and I haven't been to that class all semester, or I can't remember how to get back to that class.
I actually did that.
Yeah.
You just dream about it. I actually did it once.
Yeah, here's the deal. If you want to do it, you should be allowed to do it, I think. And why does it have to be marquee names, and why do you have to play the game at the end? I think the joint practice is like, if they were joint practices this week and it was Southern Miss coming into play, somebody you bus over for the day, Troy going to Auburn, South Alabama coming up to Tuscaloosa. And those were the joint practices, and that's what you got today, just so that it's for your development. We're talking development, just so that the cornerback doesn't know what the quarterback's play is about to be, where he can jump the route and get an interception. Because you're running these plays 67 times a day.
That's right.
And on defense, I know what you're about to run. And then you know what defense I'm in, and I'm in the man, so it's an easier read for the quarterback. Just have some other bodies out there. And if you don't want to do it, if you're Mike Elko and you don't want to do it, I understand that. If you got something new that you're working on and you don't want to expose it to another program, don't do it that day. But if you want to do it, I think you should be able to bust somebody in for a day or 2 days if you want to put them up in a hotel, whatever you want to do. The whole Syracuse to Colorado thing didn't make financial sense to me, because that was going to be the cost of a bowl trip. In order to do 2 joint practices in a game, that's a 5-day minimum trip.
Oh, it's almost like Fran Brown and Deion Sanders had a conversation like, there's no way this is going to get passed, but it will be more exposure for our programs.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, financially it didn't make a lot of sense. I do go back to Mike Gundy and him saying, what are they going to do about it? And you brought up the point, like, I mean, when is somebody going to really push all in and say,
screw the NCAA, what are they going to do?
Something about it. And if everybody gets on board and starts doing their own thing, I don't really know how you can police it.
Now, I agree with El Tigre in the chat room. Elko is right about this. And even when we had this idea back on the AM 690 days done away, I said this would be an issue, and this would be one of the things the coaches didn't like. Let's use Billy Napier for an example, who is squarely on the hot seat, right? We would all agree Billy Napier is on the hot seat this year.
No doubt.
Let's say Florida, give me a good opponent for them to play in a spring game, non-conference opponent. In a spring game. It's just a spring game here.
Well, I'm not playing games. I understand when you keep score,
Right.
you got to keep
Central
you got to
Florida.
win it.
Okay.
But I would roll USF, could drive over for them,
Whatever.
somebody like
All right,
that.
all right.
Yeah.
So they're playing that game, and they lose that game. You don't think he's going to hear chirping?
That's right.
And that's why a coach doesn't want to do it.
That's why it's not a scoreboard. It's joint practices, which is really enjoyable during the NFL season, and they get heated, but you get a lot out of them you ask any NFL person, they get more out of the joint practices than they do any of the exhibition games.
In fact,
the exhibition games are for money, for tickets and TV.
The starters are in the joint practices, and a lot of them don't even play in the exhibition games.
I'm going to be naive. I don't think coaches would get heat for losing these games.
I think they would a little bit.
I mean, just because you go to preseason games and a coach that might be on the hottest hot seat, like you don't even look at the final score of an NFL preseason game, spring training in baseball.
Well, I do think we're geared in spring training. Well, first of all, in NFL, like I just said, a lot of the starters aren't playing, and that's why a coach doesn't get a ton of heat.
I agree. I agree with you, Brownie. Hey, the show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. We'll talk a little NFL football before we get to the top of the hour and get back to college. But our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, forget the top of the hour. They'll be on top of your house. Greg will climb the ladder. He'll get on top of your house. When's the last time somebody's been up there who didn't have reindeer in a suit? Greg will get up there, and he will tell you if the weather has been naughty or nice to your roof. If you've got loose shingles or anything like that up there that can cause a major problem, Greg will deliver to you the best gift of all, and that's peace of mind. And he'll also let you know that he will repair any damage you have up there. That free no-cost roof inspection is a great place to start. 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. First start, he's locally owned. So when you have storm damage, you don't have some fly-by-night company who's just coming through and trying to take advantage of your misfortune. He's here. He's been here for over 20 years. He's not going anywhere because, my goodness, he's got 10 kids, right? So he's honest. He's going to be here. And he's A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. I cannot recommend anyone more than I do Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And also our friends at Hemphill, once you have the roof fixed, make sure the heating and cooling are rolling right.
Yeah, hey, look, spring weather is here. You got to make sure that HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the spring weather. And right now, an incredible deal. They're offering $1,000 off the new HVAC installs plus 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated train dealer. The team can service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemphill Services. Hard to stop a train. Do it now. Call 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Well, it's hard to have a first for the Cowboys. They've been around so long. But DeMarvion Overshown, the linebacker, he is going to be the first for the Cowboys. He is dropping jersey number 13, and he will become jersey number 0. The Cowboys have never had a 0, and he's going to wear that. Their mascot, Rowdy, wears 00.
Oh, wow. So we can tell them apart. That's good.
Them apart.
Wait, the Cowboys' mascot's named Rowdy?
Yeah.
Should I know that?
Number one, I didn't realize the Cowboys had a mascot. I guess he's a cowboy.
Yeah.
I've never paid close attention
Well, it was
to
a
him.
black cowboy for a while, right?
It was. That was an
official-
actual human.
That was just a fan.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when did Rowdy become the official guy?
I don't know that.
But he's 00.
Never heard that.
0. 00 for the mascot. 0 for DeMarvion, the linebacker. And if I asked you this question, and it was on our friends at First Take earlier, the young quarterback in the NFL that is under the most pressure this year, not a rookie, not somebody that's going to be drafted, one of the young guys who are coming back this year. I don't know where you put Herbert of the Chargers.
I was about to say,
I was thinking of him.
Is he still a young quarterback?
Yeah. I mean, Herbert's probably 27, 28. Trevor Lawrence got a massive deal. I think Jordan Love, based on the deal he got, everybody was expecting the way he played in the second half of the 23 season to be playing like that. There's a lot of these guys just because of the amount of money they're making now.
And we do have a lot of young quarterbacks in the league.
I mean, I would also say Bo Nix because that first year went so well. What the expectation is to take it to the next level.
To your
right
point
away.
is the expectations were here.
That's right.
Now they're here.
Yeah, well.
Now they're here.
I mean, a little bit like C.J. Stroud. Like the C.J. Stroud expectations are kind of low, and he blew everybody away year one. Well, the expectation year two was could they play for the AFC Championship, right? And I think that's kind of the talk you'll hear about Bo Nix.
He sort of met it, though. I mean, I thought C.J.
Yeah, he played well again.
Yeah,
now,
and
they had a lot of injuries. That was their problem.
They did.
And at receivers specifically.
And then you got back and you lose to the Chiefs in a game.
Yeah.
I thought they outplayed the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think there's two quarterbacks, Tua, based on the injuries,
right,
and what's going on with the contract, and I also think Kyler Murray. Like, I don't think ownership really likes him, and he'll have a really good game, and they'll have a really bad game, and there's so many inconsistencies. But there's a lot of guys on this list. I mean, Anthony Richardson, probably the last true opportunity to be a starting quarterback, battling Daniel Jones, another guy that's trying to find his footing.
I think Caleb Williams. I mean, they keep throwing talent into that Bears organization. I mean, he's only been there 1 year.
Yeah, he's going to be fine,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but I would imagine there's pressure for him to perform. It's Drake May's job now at New England. I think Will Levis missed his window. They're moving on in Tennessee. They're likely going to get Cam Ward. And
they'll probably just go with Cam Ward from day one.
Yeah.
I think I've seen enough of Will Levis, 5 of them. I know what you're getting out of him.
Yeah, and as far as organizations where pressure's on, Pittsburgh's got to figure out quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, you can have from ownership to head coach to great defenses, you can have all of this, great fan base, but if you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. And I think that's what you're seeing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is just good enough to have, you know, that limbo purgatory 22 to 25 pick every year. And without Roethlisberger, it's become a new era of you're going to be good, you're going to be competitive, you're going to win a couple of games you should, and you're going to lose a couple of games you shouldn't, but you're never going to be good enough to win a championship.
All right, tell us about Vulcan Tire and Automotive as we do another leaderboard update, because things are changing fast over at Augusta Nationals as you are out watching or listening to us and then eventually making your way to TV for the TV coverage.
Nothing like having a fully serviced vehicle, knowing wherever you're going on the road, it's been serviced bumper to bumper. You've got no issues at all. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, best tire prices guaranteed when you mention the next round. Your car works hard for you. Let them return the favor. They can do it at all those great locations. Vulcan Tire and Automotive. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
All right, Aaron Rice, to your leader at 4 under through
Come on,
10.
get out of the way, man. We don't know who you are.
Steven Yeager, do you know him?
Nope.
He's from Germany. He's also at 4 under par.
Related to Chuck?
Chuck Yeager? No, spells it different. He spells it with a J. Joaquin Neiman at 2 under par. Scotty Scheffler, you've heard of him, right?
Joaquin Neiman? South African?
No, Joaquin.
No, he was part of the Star Trek crew.
Joaquin Neiman is Chilean. He's Chilean. Scotty Scheffler.
All that is South American, South Africa.
Scotty Scheffler is at 2 under par. Terrell Hatton at 2 under par. Those are your leaders right now. Jordan Spieth at 1 under par.
Oh, that's good for Spieth. He needs a comeback.
As he plays through 5, he had a 2 under par, and he made a bogey. I was trying to find.
Typical Spieth.
Is he bitching out his caddy?
You will never let that go, will you?
Typical Spieth.
Justin Thomas is 1 over through 6, so he's got some work to do. 1 over through 6, yeah.
By the way, my pick's not good.
Oh,
I
no.
thought everybody would have Scheffler. You know what the most chosen golfer was in our pool this week?
Who's that?
Scheffler.
It was Rory McIlroy.
Wow.
Everybody's like, it's got to happen.
I
at
was
some
like,
point.
yeah, people are probably tired of him. Nobody's going to pick him.
He's still even.
I hadn't played yet. The biggest, baddest track at NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway, putting on another amazing show coming up this month. If you've never been to the track, you got to check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed, incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
We love the moments, the memories, the magic, the championships. So let's get more victories, more celebration.
He's got a chance. He won't be caught.
More unforgettable. More football. More of what you love.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're about to hear from likely Auburn's number one quarterback, Jackson Arnold, as we get ready to wrap up spring coming up in a little bit. This hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com. You can go by there and see Sterling and the crew on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Our friends at Champy's there. Sterling's been there for over 10 years. He will brine that chicken overnight and cook it to order every time you roll in there, so it's never under a heat lamp, never just sitting there. At Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, you get the best customer service and the best food, all the wonderful sides. If you're got a friend in town, you're just looking for a good Southern experience, Southern food, comfort food, that's the place to go. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. And don't forget the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. We're going to go 9, 10, and 11 in that order there. Jackson Arnold, expectations. I mean, I look at him at Oklahoma last year, and it's hard to judge him. His big win, of course, over Alabama, but he did that with his legs. He didn't have any receivers. I think one of the reasons he chose Auburn, other than comfort with Hugh Freeze and the offense, was he looked at the receiver room and said, man, y'all have healthy receivers. I like that.
Well, I think he's going to play with the best group of receivers he's ever played with. But I think more importantly, how bad that offensive line was. They gave up 50 sacks. And when you watch them early in the season, it was glaring. I mean, these guys had no time at all. And that's one of the reasons I think Shedeur is going to have a little success in the NFL, is that guy was getting killed too. And never had a decent offensive line. But that was, to me, Jackson Arnold. We never got to really see how good the receivers were because he never had time to throw the football.
Yeah, or never got to see how good he was. So now he's at a new location, and here's why Jackson Arnold says he chose Auburn out of many opportunities.
I think just them persistently recruiting me early. They were one of the first teams that hit me up out of the portal. They stressed how much they wanted me out of the portal too. It's nice to feel wanted. Coach Freeze and Coach Austin and Jesse, their message to me was, we got great ball players. They're going to be around me and help me out and support me. How Coach Freeze develops his quarterbacks. Obviously with Malik Willis, it was very, very appealing to me and just a place I knew I wanted to be.
So Malik Willis.
Yeah, it was interesting, the end of that, where Malik Willis jumped out at him is the way Hugh Freeze, it often gets, I guess it gets forgotten that Malik Willis played for Hugh Freeze before he went to the NFL.
And was really good at times.
Yeah, he was good at Liberty, yeah.
I mean, weren't you, I think you were at that randomly Liberty UAB football game? I thought somebody up here was when Malik Willis was lighting them up.
Was it Melton? Melton goes to UAB games. Were you there?
I was not one of the souls that were there in attendance.
It's not like I would say this. Where is Malik Willis now in the NFL? I know he's on a roster.
I think he's still with the Titans, isn't he?
Is he the Titans backup? I thought he moved on.
Yeah, that's my
He's still under a rookie contract. I think he's with the Titans.
Yeah. Will Levis.
Packers.
I think he got traded to the Packers. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's Packers backup.
Yeah. And we just skipped over 2 years with Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, I guess Malik Willis actually played some last year.
Understandably skipping over Peyton Thorne. I mean, I think Peyton carries far more of the criticism than he should. I don't think Peyton got very good coaching.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of issues there.
From Hugh or from his dad?
Yes, from Hugh and the Auburn offensive staff. I mean, he played for two coordinators. One got fired.
Yeah. That was Monty that got fired.
Monty
right?
got fired. Philip Montgomery.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, I'm not saying he shouldn't shoulder some of the blame, Lance. I just think it's popular to throw all the blame on Peyton Thorne, and I don't think you could do that.
That gets us to the next part of our conversation with Jackson Arnold and our friends at ABC 3340 here on whether he feels pressure to fix Auburn's offense. We admit it's broken. Does he feel the pressure as the guy who's got to fix it?
Nah, not really. All the pressure I've felt over the past couple of years is kind of thrown out now. Expectations are just, for me, I try to be a perfectionist. My expectations for myself are always high, but I don't feel like there's added pressure on me to come in and fix things. I just kind of want to come in and just do my thing, and I do what I know I can do.
And that is something there. Now, the expectation for him at Oklahoma was a 5-star quarterback that was going to be the next great Oklahoma quarterback who won Heisman trophies and go on to the NFL. He doesn't have that anymore now because nobody expects anything from him.
Well, and here's the thing, man. You go back to last year, or go back to the end of 2023, and he got that bowl start, and he turned it over, I think, 5 times in that game. So everybody was like, man, this guy, he's got to protect the football. If you really look at his numbers from last year, aside from being sacked 34 times, 63% completion, not awful. It needs to work on that a little bit. I mean, that's solid.
Yeah, you can live with that.
12 touchdowns, only 3 picks. He only threw 3 picks all year. And another thing that I would really bring up, and because we brought this up with Alabama, we were talking about the totality of their offense and kind of it was a little messy at times. Not only were you missing your top 5 receivers due to injury, you also didn't have a running back that went over 600 yards rushing. Oklahoma traditionally has a 1,000-yard guy back there. Jackson Arnold was their second leading rusher with 444 yards. So
probably tells you a lot of what you need to know about the O-line there, right?
The offensive line, there wasn't a lot of skill around him. So he is about to have the best skill he's had around him.
The one other soundbite we have from Jackson Arnold, after we remind you our friends at Lake Fest getting ready for a big event coming up, Brownie, in May, right?
It is coming up in May, Jimmy D, and it is going to be a great event there at Lake Fest. It's the 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by Amherst. It is May 9 through 11, Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. It is absolutely free to the public. It is Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats and vehicles on display. Lake lifestyle vendors will be there. Food trucks will be there. There'll be a beer garden, live music all weekend, tons of giveaways. There will be a Friday night fireworks show honoring our United States veterans on the month of Memorial Day. There'll be Mermaids and Mateys Parade on Saturday. It is also the month of Mother's Day, so free mimosas for Mom on Sunday. LoganMartinLakeFest.com for more info. And see more about the first time in the history of LakeFest. AmFirst offering a 0.5% off interest rates that could save you $100 a month and up to $12,000 over the life of the loan. LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
And with Logan Martin Lakefest, you know spring is in full effect. With spring weather here, our friends at Hemp Hill Services, they are offering $1,000 off the new HVAC systems, the installs, plus 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. At Hemp Hill Services, make sure your HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent Trane dealer. The team can service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a Trane. Do it now. 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
One of the things that happens in the off season is the Manning Passing Academy. It seems like all the quarterbacks go there. Jackson Arnold decided not to go to the Manning Passing Academy, and he was asked about that decision.
Yeah, it is true. I went last year, and I loved it. I had a great experience. But I feel like for me, I need to be around these guys as much as I possibly can. And I know that going there would have meant I'd miss a couple workouts with those guys, and I feel like that wasn't fair to them. I felt like I should go through the whole summer with them and just keep bonding with them and keep gelling with them. I didn't know a single person on this team before I came in, so I feel like it's just big for me to just be around the guys and them to know me and get to know me and me get to know them and just create a relationship so that when we're on the field, they trust me and they respect me.
Deep receiving room, and he's there going to pass up really on a vacation weekend, I guess. Even though it's in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's in the middle of Louisiana. I don't know how big a vacation it is. I would say, it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, though he's already done it, so it's not really for him.
Really cool to tell your kids.
Yeah, but
I was at the Manning Passing Academy.
Since he's already done it, I can see it being a bit of an easier decision for him, but it's probably the right decision there. He's right. I mean,
and he can circle back and do it again next year.
Yeah, if he wants to do it again. Yeah, I mean, he can go back and do it for a second time. But had you not done it before, I mean, that might be a little more difficult decision to make, but good for him. I think it's the wise decision. Maximize the time you got with your teammates. And now your teammates need to reciprocate. Like when the Manning Passing Academy rolls around, you better not be down at the beach. We need to be here throwing the football, right? Yeah. I gave up something, you give up something.
Yeah, works out that way. All right, we have a new football scheduled game coming up that I'm excited about seeing these two helmets. And I love the fact that this game was announced yesterday and we're getting it in 2026 and 2027. What that game is after Brownie tells us about Alexander Shunnarah and the great trial attorneys that started and was birthed right here in Alabama.
It was 24 years ago right here in the state of Alabama in Birmingham. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. And they've also established, and this was Alexander's vision, a firm that can handle any issue the community face. It handles not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com.
Yesterday, the announcement comes that Tennessee and Georgia Tech. That's just old school Southern rivalry there. Used to be an SEC game. Tennessee and Georgia Tech are going to play each other in a home and home in college football. 2026, they'll go to Atlanta. So it's just next year, not this year, next year. And then 2027, they come to Knoxville. So Tennessee and Georgia Tech. We know the games that Texas has scheduled, including Ohio State home and home starting this year. They're just coming off of a Michigan game. Georgia, the games that they've played recently. Tennessee now with these games. Let's look at Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, LSU, four other big brands in the SEC on who they have coming up and who maybe we would like to see them schedule in the future. For Alabama, if you want to go them first.
I got them.
Who's on their schedule?
All right, so they are going to wrap up the home and home of Florida State next year and start the home and home of West Virginia. So at West Virginia, Florida State next year. 2027, host West Virginia at Ohio State.
Oh, wow.
2028, host Ohio State at Oklahoma State. 2029.
Wow, so Alabama, Oklahoma State. Okay.
Starting in 28. And 2029, at Notre Dame, host Oklahoma State. 2030, at Georgia Tech, host Notre Dame. 31, Georgia Tech at home at Boston College. 32, Arizona at home at Minnesota. That's the one that leaves you like, yeesh. After
Hey, I'm telling you, that's a really cool area, though.
Oh,
That
at Minnesota?
Yeah, because I was supposed to go to that Minnesota-Nebraska game. It got way too cold. It was snowing in October.
Yeah.
But that is a fun town. It really is.
32 is the flip of that, Arizona and at. Oh, I'm sorry. 33 is the flip of that, at Arizona, Minnesota at home. And then 34, at Virginia Tech, host BC. And then 35, Virginia Tech comes back. There's no other game.
Some random games. Real
But
quick,
some good ones.
Back to Georgia Tech, Tennessee. Those teams have played a ton of times. I just don't remember that game a lot.
I don't either. I can't think. I can't close my eyes to see that game.
You guys want to guess how many times they've played?
35.
No, they used to play.
They used to be in conference.
Yeah, they used to be in conference, played all the time. I'm going to say they've played 50 times.
44 times. Last time was 2017 where Tennessee won 42-41. I don't remember that game.
Was that a bowl game?
42-41. That was a kickoff classic.
Really?
In Atlanta.
Boy, I thought I would have remembered more about that game. That's a fun game.
What was that, 2017?
That's what he said.
Yeah, 2017.
Monday night, Labor Day night.
And their first meeting since 87. Vols never had the lead in regulation. But they tied the game at 28, forced overtime. 42-41 win.
I do not remember watching that.
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. I don't remember that either.
That was a
hell of a game, man.
Heck of a game I missed. How did I miss that one?
So Alabama, I mean, through 2035, they've got their out-of-conference schedule.
Yeah, pretty well set.
So there's nobody else. And, they hit Florida State, they hit West Virginia, they hit Ohio State, they hit Notre Dame, they hit Oklahoma State. I mean, there's really, other than USC, some West Coast, Oregon. I've always wanted to see Alabama, Oregon, Alabama, USC again. There's really nobody left there. What about Auburn? Give me Auburn. What do we have in the future, Auburn? Is there somebody I can wish for with Auburn?
Perhaps. So, obviously, next year they wrap up Baylor. Baylor comes to Auburn. We talked about who did. There was an Auburn home and home that fell apart recently, and we brought this up.
I do like the fact that Alabama has two. Though towards the end it does get to be a little Arizona, Minnesota-ish, Virginia Tech, BC-ish, but you don't know what those teams will be by the time we get there.
And you don't even know if those series will be played. They're
That's right.
they're on a schedule right now. Who knows?
I'd like to see a home and home with these in-state and Nebraska.
Oh, both of them?
Yeah.
Auburn at Nebraska, Alabama at Nebraska. Yeah, that was old school Alabama. Used to go out there occasionally. Next year, Auburn's out of conference is Baylor at home, Southern Miss at home, Jacksonville State at home.
Yeah, we're just looking for the marquee games.
Okay, so Jacksonville State at home.
Yeah.
2027, Auburn plays Missouri State at home.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
2028, Auburn plays North Alabama at home.
That's it?
That's it.
2029. Where's the big future games?
Auburn's at Miami in 2029. In 2030, Miami returns to Auburn.
Well, it sounds like one athletic department needs to start scheduling some games.
Yeah, Auburn's got to get on the ball.
Well, two programs I would ask you guys about. Is there appeal now in scheduling these two? Because
if you're Auburn, they need these games.
They've become
Lance.
players.
Show me on them.
SMU, Rhett Lashley, got a little tie there.
That'd be a fun series. Yeah, I mean, you could.
And then the other one, just because of the deal he signed, Deion Sanders in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. If you thought Deion was going to be there long term.
I mean, look, Boulder is a fun trip. And I just think that would be one of those unique games where you're going to get a lot of ink on it, but I don't think you risk a lot playing at Colorado.
God, it would be funny if you schedule a home and home with SMU and Rhett Lashley ended up being the Auburn coach in that game.
Happened against his old school.
Could be.
Yeah.
Auburn does not have.
I mean, if I'm an Auburn fan and all that season ticket money, and I know you spend a lot and you get a good home SEC schedule, but where's my games?
They don't have
my
any
future games.
What about Iowa too? Iowa would be a fun trip.
Would it?
You get to go wave at the kids at the end of the first
I think it would. A regular season game. I mean, Iowa's one of those teams that's never going to win a championship, but regular season games in Iowa City, it's one of those they turn you over 4 times. They win the game 13-10.
Okay, let's look at a different one because maybe Greg Byrne just said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on all these future schedules right now, so maybe I can take a weekend or two off this summer.
Yeah, who you want?
And John Cohen is approaching it very differently.
Just don't want a vacation?
I have got no future plans. I'll work on my
workaholic.
future schedules later on.
Yeah.
So maybe more people do it the way Cohen does it. Maybe more people do it the way Byrne does. Give me Georgia.
Okay. So you want to see what
What's the future schedule of
what
Georgia?
Georgia's got. All right. So this year they play Georgia Tech out of conference. That's it. Their out of conference is awful other than Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Marshall lost to P. Charlotte.
What are we doing? Okay, what's next?
Next year at Louisville, they add in Louisville. It's Georgia Tech every year, obviously. I don't have to say them every year. You guys get that. They're at Louisville next year. 2027, they're at Florida State, host Louisville, and at Georgia Tech. So
okay, there we go.
Georgia's trying to win the ACC.
Yeah, now we're starting to cook, though.
Georgia's doing their best to get the ACC crown.
They're going to save some money with buses if they need
Yes,
to. Okay.
2028, Florida State comes to Athens, and Georgia Tech does as well. 2029, Georgia is at Clemson and at Georgia Tech.
Just stop saying Georgia Tech.
Get a lot of ACC in this, Jim. 2030, they've got Clemson, Ohio State, and an ACC team at the end of the year. 2031 at Ohio State. 2032 host Clemson. 2033 at Clemson. 2034 at NC State. Way too much ACC in this.
What are we doing?
Well, the problem is,
are they leaving the league and they haven't told us yet?
Problem is, we've only got 4 conferences.
Well,
now.
yeah, but I mean, they do play Ohio State. At least there's that.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just saying, it's tough to bounce around.
I know, but boy, that's a lot. You give me though, that's a lot of ACC.
It is.
Right?
Oh,
give me
ton.
LSU, who gave me home games with USC and UCLA in the same year last year.
Next year they play Clemson. Yeah, were you setting me up on this? You've done your homework, haven't you? 2027, they play Houston. It says in Houston, Texas, which tells me that's obviously neutral site. They'll play them at
Reliant.
2029, they play Arizona State and Rice and McNeese. 2030 at Arizona State. 2031 and 2032, they got a home and home with Utah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, Utah, LSU, home and home ain't bad.
Yeah.
So can I just say Greg Byrne has worked his ass off and done a great job with his future scheduling, and everyone else lagging behind here. Not that we've done. Texas, obviously, you give me Texas because they just did Michigan last year. They got Ohio State.
Alabama seems like really, and maybe it's easier to schedule now that Nick Saban's not there, but you're scheduling a loss.
Well, you were, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were. I mean, I don't know about moving forward,
Yeah,
but maybe it's
when
become a
these
little
schedules were
easier.
done, yeah.
But somewhere down the line, Arizona was like sitting there in 2032 is like, surely he will not be coaching. Yeah, we'll do it, Greg. Yeah, Arizona, we'll do it. Yeah, put us down.
We can always cancel.
Yeah, put us down for 2032.
So next year, Texas gets the return Ohio State game. Then in 27, they get the return Michigan game from the game they played up there this year.
Okay.
2028, they start a 2-year home and home with Notre Dame, 28 and 29.
Okay, so their philosophy is we're going to play one of these.
Yep, because in 30, they've got UTSA, 31 UTEP, 32 a home and home with Arizona State.
You threw that in there?
Yeah, well, that's the only one they've got.
By the way, I do think right now
Arizona State.
The wise play is playing one of these.
Well, that's not what Alabama signed up for.
I know.
I mean, I see what you're saying on wise play. I also don't think on the other side that playing 2 of them is going to knock you out of the playoffs. I mean, 3 losses with one of those schedules like we read about Alabama. Let's say
if
the year Alabama plays Ohio State, Notre Dame, if their losses are Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Texas in the regular season.
I've got them West Virginia, Ohio State, Oklahoma State.
Okay.
And Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame.
Okay. Well, they did match up the way I thought
But
it
Ohio
did.
State, Oklahoma State could be the best team in the Big 12.
Maybe. You never know. It is the Big 12.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, Brown.
I'm saying I don't think it's going to beat you. I don't think it's going to keep you out of the playoffs playing that type of schedule.
Yeah.
But I'm also with Lance. I'm not so certain that only playing one of these is the right play.
Well, and we haven't yet seen a 3-loss team.
We have not.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing from this is I think a lot of athletic directors, and I don't know why Greg Byrne operated differently. Next time we talk to him, we'll ask him. I think a lot of these athletic directors are wait and see on this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because if you've got this many open spots in the SEC, it's going to be, I would say a lot of national teams have this many open spots too. So you'll be able to pair some of these up moving forward, I would think.
Yeah. All right.
But Alabama was one of those 9-3s that didn't get in last year.
They were. It wasn't their out-of-conference schedule that hurt them.
Nope.
They won at Wisconsin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you schedule 2 of these really difficult out-of-conference, and then you've got your SEC schedule. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, can we do one more just real quick? Because Morgan said y'all got to do Kentucky's upcoming.
You can't. It's
they're
always
so
one of the
bad.
worst.
Stoops is not going to schedule.
Can I just? I'm going to throw out 3 names. That I bet show up in their future schedule.
All right.
Miami of Ohio.
I was going to go Kent State.
Kent State is in, not Miami, Ohio.
I'm going to say they. For some reason, I'm going to say Eastern Kentucky's on there somewhere.
You're close. Think in-state.
Western Kentucky.
Keep going in-state.
Morehead State.
You've got half of it. Murray State. Murray State's in there.
There's got to be a Sun Belt.
There is. There is a Sun Belt from our state. I'll give you a hint.
South Alabama.
South Alabama. Yep. Next year they play Youngstown State in South Alabama.
I knew it had to be. I went Miami of Ohio. I knew it had to be some miserable small Ohio school.
You know, the only worst thing than going to Kroger Field is going to Kroger Field to see South Alabama.
I know. Listen, on Kentucky's schedule, it's almost always going to have a direction or a state in the name of your out-of-conference team. Almost always. Toledo, Murray State, Ball State. Toledo, Kent State, Eastern Illinois.
I mean, just every year it's a bad Ohio school.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, God, I can't believe they could sell.
And they're
tickets.
always right at a 14-point favorite. It comes down. Stoops is calling timeouts up 12.
Yeah,
get them in field goal range
or not, depending. All right, the show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Before we do another leaderboard update, a great TV setup at Champy's on Highway 119 in Alabaster. If you want to go by there, have a cold beverage, hot chicken, you can do that. Great desserts made on site there. It is all right there at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Leaderboard update brought to you by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive.
Hey, you're about to get on the road this spring, whether you're heading to the coast, the lake, great sporting event. You need to make sure that car is serviced bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, best in the business. I'm in there way too much. Get in, see that incredible staff. Tell them the next round sent you. They are going to guarantee you, when you mention the next round, the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham. Locations throughout the Birmingham location. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Boy, Aaron Rye was your leader until he found a little place we like to call Amen Corner. And it has jumped up and bitten him. Bogeys on 11 and 12 have him now at 2 under. Steven Yeager, your leader. The German is playing the 11th right now. He's at 4 under par, 2-shot lead. A big group at 2 under, including Joaquin Neiman, Scotty Scheffler, Terrell Hatton in that group there at 2 under par. Spieth is still 1 under par. Justin Thomas, last time I checked him, he was 1 over par, and that is still where he is playing the 8th right now.
So let me ask you, Will Zalatoris, I've got a little...
Willie Z?
Yeah, Willie Z, 3 master starts, 3 top 10 finishes. He got to the back 9, and he has fallen apart. He gets bogey on 10, and then on 13, double bogey a 7.
That's right.
Is 13 tough?
13's par 5. It's got water. He probably hit it in the water, if I had to guess, to make a double.
Probably so. That's our Vulcan Tire and Auto Masters Update show brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We'll do trash when we come back.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the Next Round as we get to trash. The show being brought to you in part by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. If you missed us earlier talking to Zac Blackerby, if you're an Auburn football fan, great stuff from Zac wherever you get our podcast. And we ask you to always, whether you're there with us on Spotify or Apple, iHeart, or Google Podcast, it helps us out a lot. If you like, you follow, you subscribe, and you set your automatic downloads to on. It helps us tremendously. And again, whether it's Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, jump in there and like, follow, subscribe, and turn on the automatic downloads wherever you get the podcast. Brought to you by our friends at Michelson.
Yeah, Dr. Mark Michelson, true pioneer in LASIK, the first to perform the procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. Make the phone call that I made. This Scheffler guy just hit like a 25-foot putt to go 3 under. Make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Make sure you ask for Amy Tower. The Next Round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. I've got the 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
All right, let's do trash. It is brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Mr. Melton.
Well, listen, we've got to do this. Let me hear you all say, E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
So we start first with Pizza Hut. Very interesting. Bo and I went on a couple of sales calls yesterday, and we passed a strip mall, and there was a Pizza Hut there, but it wasn't the old school red roof. And he's like, man, I miss the old Pizza Hut.
I kind of do too. We used to do the lunch buffet at Jack State when we had money.
It was the only place to eat in Elkhart, Kansas when I was doing play-by-play for the Dusters.
Everybody would sit and wait on the most popular pizzas, and as soon as they bring it out, it'd be a swarm. But if you wanted the off-brand, the less popular pizzas, you could clean up at the buffet.
I remember going to a Pizza Hut in Fort Walton Beach as a kid. We went on like a guy trip. It was like my dad, his buddy took like, a couple of us, and we went to a Pizza Hut. And first time I'd ever seen shrimp on a pizza, and I don't know if I've ever seen it since. That's not really a good combo, is it?
Pass.
Yeah. So anyway, Pizza Hut, speaking of that, wants to help make your pizza a little fancier. On Wednesday, April 9th, pizza chain announced its plans to launch Pizza Caviar, which it calls a, quote, first-of-its-kind innovation meant to elevate the world's most beloved comfort foods. But this innovative topping isn't the kind of caviar you might be envisioning. Pizza Hut is launching a product meant to replicate the look and feel of traditional caviar without any fish involved. Now, according to the brand, jars of the treat are filled with tiny balls of pizza caviar that deliver a smoky pepperoni flavor. These spheres are crafted from pepperoni-flavored water and agar. Agar, is that right? A plant-based gelatin-like thickening agent made from red seaweed.
What if they just put pepperoni on the pizza? Seems like that'd be a lot easier.
I went to a new pizza joint in town last night, just randomly.
Yeah.
And they had the really small pepperonis.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. I like the big ones.
Didn't really understand that. Okay, although putting real caviar on a pizza might be the more obvious choice, brand says in its press release that it posed the question, why just place caviar on your pizza when you can reimagine it entirely and create a bold new food category? Again, they're doing this just where we'll talk about it, which we are, so they won, we didn't.
I grew up in Anniston, Alabama, Calhoun County, so I don't think this is going to come as a surprise to anyone on the panel or watching the show or listening anywhere. I've never had caviar. Have you guys had it?
I have.
I've tried it one time, and it's disgusting. And I don't know why people like it.
Yeah, so we went to, when we were out in Dallas last time I had it this past summer, and you can get really good salty caviar, but I got the kind of fishy caviar.
I guess that's what I had.
And it was at Nick and Sam's, steakhouse
all
like.
Yeah.
And it just, it wasn't great.
For you?
No.
Yeah.
It's funny, last night when I ordered a slice and a salad. Leighton and I went to dinner, and at this particular pizza joint, before I ordered the slice, I wanted to get a whole pizza and split it, but Leighton wanted to do slice and a salad. So I said, are your slices like Sbarro size? Girl looked at me like I was crazy.
You've never tried good pizza.
But you remember how big the Sbarro slice was?
Oh, yeah, it was massive. Like, it was so big that you're like, I can't get two, but I really want 1.5.
Right.
That's what I really want, but
I never thought anything about it as a kid running around Brookwood Mall. They would have it just under the heating lamp. What I thought was so neat was they had an ice cold bed of cold beer, and you never saw that in the mall. Thought that was very interesting. Longtime employee of City Furniture's corporate warehouse faces grand theft charges after admitting to stealing tens of thousands of dollars worth of lithium batteries over 3 years and selling them online.
I mean, this guy's missing his calling. He should be a villain in a movie or something.
Yeah.
He's like from Central Casting. Hey, can you give me somebody who's
he's got good hair.
He's going to be the villain in our movie.
I mean, this guy could be like a freaking Venice Beach model.
I mean, that's spectacular hair. I will give the man his due.
Now, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Office investigation, April 2nd, deputies were called to City Furniture's headquarters and a distribution center following a report from the company's area asset protection manager. Records show the deputies encountered Michael Montilla, right here, 34 years old, of Davie. Upon arrival, he was detained on site after an internal investigation linked him to a pattern of missing high-value batteries used to power reclining couches. Now, according to its official report, City Furniture became aware of the theft after one of its vendors discovered a particular brand battery that their couches used for sale on eBay. Tracing the battery's serial number, vendor determined it originated from City Furniture's inventory and contacted the company to report the listing. Internal probe led to the arrest of this individual. Arrest report indicates that Montilla says proceeds from the sales, approximately $200 per battery, were estimated over $73,000 over the years. If I would have asked you guys, what does this guy do for a living, would you have said, works in a furniture store?
No. I would have gone there.
I would have gone, he is a
male stripper.
Yeah, I would have gone Thunder from Down Under.
Yep.
And by Down Under, I meant like the
Australia.
I mean, professional surfer.
Yeah. Soccer player. I'd gone soccer players.
Yeah, I
I
could
could
see
see
that.
bad stereotypes.
I can see that.
But I tell you, that ink on the throat has got to hurt on the windpipe.
Oh, no doubt. That little
Adam's
eyeball
apple.
on his
Yeah.
Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Woof.
I could see him in a Mexican soap opera.
Yep,
or,
I could.
Telemundo?
Yeah,
Mhm.
a Telemundo soap
Yeah,
opera.
Rapido.
I walk in a Mexican restaurant, it's on with no sound, so I don't know what's happening.
Like he is the guy that's kissing the very young wife of an old businessman in a Mexican
So
drama.
it was so rare. That pizza joint I was at last night, they had two. So they had Lakers Mavs on, and then on the other they had this Hallmark Mormon movie, but it wasn't Hallmark. It was on Tubi. And so this guy comes behind the bar and he works in film. Like he does local film. He's doing a Hallmark movie right now. They start shooting next week. So we started to talk about it, and he's like, "You've got to watch this one movie on Tubi." I was the bad guy in it. And I forgot who was in it. It was two big actors in it.
Oh, wow. And he played the bad guy.
Yeah, but anyway, they had this Mormon show going on, and everybody at the bar was fascinated by it. From that to LeBron James. He's soon going to be on toy shelves around the country in doll form. On Wednesday, Barbie manufacturer Mattel announced that it has teamed with LeBron James and the Family Foundation
LeBron James?
to give the four-time NBA champion his own toy model. James is the first athlete to have his own rendition of the Ken doll.
Uncomfortably small hands, by the way. I don't think they got the hands right.
And it's like he dipped them in wax.
I mean, it really doesn't look like he could palm a basketball.
No, he couldn't with those. It's disproportionate.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we know if it's of the Ken variety, it's not anatomically correct, Brown.
That's true. I was just saying the hands.
It is interesting that he did make sure on his Mattel doll that he's got junk, unlike the other dolls. It was one of the prerequisites.
That would have been funny.
Quote, as a young kid, I was fortunate to have role models who not only inspired me, this is from LeBron, also showed me what it's possible through hard work and dedication. Now as an adult, I understand how vital it is for young people to have positive figures to look up to. It's an opportunity to recognize the powerful impact of role models who instill confidence, inspire dreams, and show kids they can achieve greatness. Now, the Laker star took part in the design process for the figurine. James' doll, which stands 1 inch taller than the standard Ken doll, going to assume he made that part of it too, has custom clothing that salutes his Akron, Ohio roots and Nike shoes.
RTD4 in the chat room says, does it fall by itself and cry for 15 minutes?
I was going to say the thing you don't know is Mattel also forces you to buy a Bronny doll.
That's pretty good.
That's good, that way I like it.
Tourists visiting the unassuming but iconic Abbey Road have been left heartbroken when they discovered it was, quote, just a road. Now, the street gained mass attention and even became a landmark after the Beatles named their 1969 album Abbey Road, with the album cover featuring the four members crossing the road. Now, every day, dozens of eager and excited tourists head to the location to recreate the iconic album cover. However, it seems some of those tourists expect a bit more than just a road when they make the trip to St. John's Wood and often end up disappointed. Many of those tourists have even taken online review site TripAdvisor to share their upset. One visitor titled their review, quote, "Disappointed doesn't cover it," explaining, "On reflection, I think I may have been expecting too much. My disappointment is not finding street sellers either side of the road selling cheap T-shirts and merchandise.
That's what I want.
Was a surprise."
Yeah.
Now, they went on to add, it's just a zebra crossing, and you could save yourself some money by just standing on any of the millions in the UK and just photoshopping the background in. Another upset Beatles fan shared that there's nothing to see. Went on to say, "I'm a massive Beatles fan, but there's really nothing to see here. It's just an ordinary zebra crossing. It's busy, crowded with fellow tourists trying to work out, even if they are in the right place, and with annoyed drivers trying to drive down a busy main road."
Well, you know, if you live in that area, you just avoid that road, don't you? Because I'm sure it is constant. People trying to make the
photo. You would
photo.
think that somebody would be trying to make a buck. I mean, we went to Dealey Plaza, and
people everywhere.
Yeah, there's people out selling stuff.
That's where a guy got killed, and people are like, buy my stuff, buy my merch here. And But you also saw at Dealey Plaza where people have put the X in the street where the car was for each time Kennedy got hit by a bullet. President Kennedy got hit by a bullet. And people literally go stand in the street while the red light is holding traffic to make photos. And when the red light lets go, people still have to stop to let them get out of the street. So how much worse do you think it is right here on Abbey Road?
I think
it's much worse.
Probably a lot worse.
Yeah. And that is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and by our friends at Bojangles.
That is right. You are thinking about lunch plans? How about some of those Bo Bites for lunch? You know what Bow Bites are, right? You head to your local Bojangles and ask for Bow Bites. You'll find out very quickly that Bow Bites are bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection, perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. It's a Bow Bite. Only hard part, choosing from 6 dipping sauces, one for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It just depends on the mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
Yep. And as we wait for our final guest of the day, Perrion Winfrey of the Stallions. We'll talk about the Stallions home opener. Let's do one more leaderboard update as Scheffler continues to do Scheffler things. It's brought to you by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive.
Great locations throughout the Birmingham area. If you're getting on the road this spring, you need to make sure that car is fully serviced, bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they can help. You can get those tires looked at. They've got the best tires guaranteed in Birmingham. All you got to do is mention the next round. Your car works hard for you. Let them return the favorite, Vulcan Tire and Automotive. For more information, vulcantireandauto.com.
That guy, Scotty Scheffler, is Lance called him. This guy, Scotty Scheffler, 3 under par through 8. He's one shot behind Steven Yeager, who is 4 under as he plays through Amen Corner. Justin Rose, a guy who's been so close at Augusta, so close so many times, has birdied his first 2 holes.
He's gotten old, too, right?
He has. It comes for all of us.
Man,
and
I
it has
say
come
that.
for Justin.
I mean, Justin's 40. Is that right?
I can believe that. Yeah, 41, 42 maybe. Spieth is 1 under as he plays the 8th. Justin Thomas has struggled just a little bit. Thomas is 1 over as he is playing the 9th. Can I give you the psycho scorecard of the day, Dunaway?
Yes.
I mentioned it in the break. You'll have to give me a second to pull it back up. Nikolai Hogard, here is his day today. He has finished his round with a 76.
He's already finished?
He is finished. One of the early ones out from Denmark. He and his brother are playing in this, by the way. He and his brother. I think it's one of very few brother combos to ever play in the Masters. Here's his scorecard. You guys ready?
Yep.
Bogey, double bogey. Birdie, 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 par birdie, at which point he was in the lead.
All right.
He starts bogey, double bogey, and he's back in the lead. Birdie's 8, bogey's 9. All right, I've got it settled down. No, I don't. Double bogey 10, par 11, double bogey 12. Par, eagle. Bogey, bogey, bogey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bogeys, 3 double bogeys, 5 birdies, and an eagle today for the guy.
Wow.
That's the psycho scorecard. He only made 4 pars all day for a 76.
Clean up those bogeys.
He could tear it up, couldn't he?
Yeah. I will tell you one thing to notice as you watch the coverage today as they get to 16. The hurricane, was it Helene?
Yeah, Hurricane Helene,
removed a lot of trees on property. It really impacted the 16th, where it'll look sunnier, not as shaded as it usually does on 16.
I think I was trying to remember the player it was that went and played a practice round back in March and was being asked about it. It might have been McElroy, could have been Scheffler, I don't know. One of the top players, though, and he was like, if you've played the course a lot, you can tell it's significant, the changes that unfortunately Hurricane Helene has made there. So that's it. You hate that, but, it's still one of the most beautiful pieces of property in the world.
And how come nobody's talking Brooks Koepka?
Because he's on live and you don't see him all the time. I mean, he's still...
It is a major.
Yeah.
I mean, he's long off the tee, which it's not as important here as it is some places.
Doesn't hurt you, though, for sure.
It does make your approach, your second iron shot that's so important, a little less yardage-wise. Why is somebody talking Koepka?
I just think it's because he's on live and you really don't get a gauge of the form these guys on live are in until you see them playing against the other best players in the world. So it's kind of hard. If I told you, I don't even know if Brooks Koepka has won a tournament on the live recently. Do you?
I don't even know if he's played any.
Yeah.
I assume he made $1 billion to play.
Yeah. Oh, no, he made a ton of money. Now, Vegas, obviously, they're able to put odds on it, and I don't have the odds because it's teed off, so I don't know where he went off, but it was pretty high. I do know that. I can give you odds to make the cut if you want that. That's going to take me a second to find that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because people don't see the guy. So you out of sight, out of mind. And that's the way a lot of these live guys are, if not all the live guys. How many people talk about John Rahm? Guy's won there.
Yeah.
He's done something Koepka hasn't done. He's put on a green jacket.
Is he still playing?
Yes, he's still playing.
I haven't heard about him.
I know. I mean, that's my point.
It's either that Scheffler guy or Rory McIlroy.
It really is where you go to make millions, but but die in the eyes of the public, right?
You do,
The
Lance.
Live Tour.
And I'm telling you, man, I guarantee you these Live guys, whether they would admit it or not.
Oh, watching today, if they're not in Augusta.
Oh, yeah, that's killing them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that aren't there because they're on Live. If they were on the PGA Tour, they would qualify in the world rankings to get into Augusta. But I'm telling you, man, these guys that are on Live Dunaway, these Roms and Koepkas, they miss the buzz that they're feeling today. When they get out there and there's an actual crowd there and they know all the best players in the world are there, they miss that today.
The show being brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. It is fast, it is furious, and it is fantastic people watching.
It is. I love it, man. If you've never been to Talladega Super Speedway, you are missing out. You're cheating yourself. The biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Super Speedway, has another amazing show in April. It's the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend. April 25th through 27th, the best 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn that you will ever see. You can get tickets to be part of the weekend. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com for the Jack Links 500 weekend, April 25th through 27th at Talladega.
I appreciate those fine folks for entertaining us last year. We look forward to being back out there again. A couple of college football notes for you. Missouri edge rusher Jahki Lang is hitting the portal. We're not officially to the portal yet, but a lot of names are popping of people who are going to go to the portal. Lang is one of those guys who, I know he had a sack in the Auburn game against Peyton Thorne, but he's probably their second best edge rusher last year at Missouri, something they've been good at. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. And then Syracuse, we're in the name your starting quarterback time of year. Syracuse named their QB1 yesterday. It is Ricky Collins, who was at LSU, only played in a few games in mop-up. Never threw an incomplete pass at LSU.
Oh, good for him.
He was 7 of 7.
Yeah, perfect passer
in
rating.
his LSU career.
Wow.
Now, the fascinating thing will be, can he even scratch what Kyle McCord did last year for Fran Brown in winning 10 games? I mean, McCord was really good. Like, I don't think, and I give Will Howard a lot of credit, the moxie and just how rah-rah he was. He did come out the other day and say he's the best quarterback in this draft coming up, which is crazy.
Well, boy.
Somebody's got to have a hype machine.
I don't know how different it would have been if Kyle McCord would have stayed in Columbus. I still think they won a national championship. I mean, do you guys disagree?
If Kyle McCord had stayed in Columbus, I think they would have been better in the regular season. And I still think they win the national championship.
Yeah, maybe not, though. You never know.
You never know.
I think they would have been. I mean, my gut tells me there were times it looked like Will Howard was holding them back, but once they got to the postseason, Will Howard was really good.
Anyway, my point, if you can get even close to the production for Fran Brown that you got last year from Kyle McCord, they're going to be in a good spot.
Ricky Collins is the starter. Strong arm. Who do they play the first game?
They play Tennessee in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think that's the Sunday afternoon game. Am I right about that? I think it's part of a Sunday doubleheader.
Yep.
They've got a tough September. And, you never want to include UConn and Duke as tough, but those have become tricky games. They really have. And they've still got at Clemson on September 20th. So, Fran Brown, they're not going to sneak up on anybody after winning 10 games last year.
No, they shouldn't. You're right about that.
Damn, they close with Miami, Notre Dame.
Stallions opening up this weekend. Go ahead.
They've got those back-to-back, Miami, Notre Dame?
Yep.
Oof.
They get a bye, excuse me. They are back-to-back games, but they do get a bye in between in November.
Tough finish, yeah.
Stallions are at it this weekend. We were supposed to talk to Perrion Winfrey here, but they were practicing as well, and practice has maybe run a little bit long here, but you can get tickets at Protective Stadium.
Yeah, the Birmingham Stallions are 3-time champions. Their home opener is coming up Friday. Post-game fireworks, by the way. The game kicks at 7 on Friday, but post-game fireworks, so stick around for the end. Pack Protective, UFLstallions.com. That is UFLstallions.com. 1-1. They don't lose a lot. They've already lost one game, but they're back home. So you can pack Protective against Arlington, 7 o'clock Friday night, UFLstallions.com.
All right. Interesting note from baseball here. By the way, Braves lose 4-3 last night as Trey Turner hit a winning home run in the 9th inning. Braves are now 2-9, 6 games back of the Phillies. A new pennant race is coming up live at 12:15 today. I'll actually be on there with Ush and Emily Grace McWhorter talking a little baseball. But something happened last night in San Francisco That's only happened 5 times. Mike Yastrzemski hit a walk-off splash out in McCovey Cove. It's only happened 5 times since they've opened the stadium. He's hit the last 3 of them.
Oh, really?
I was going to say Bonds has hit them all.
Yeah, I was going to. Bonds had the other 5
of them. He's hit the last 3. I don't know who hit the other 2. I would assume Bonds, but it's got to be a walk-off that splashes in McCovey Cove to win the game for the Giants there. That's pretty rare, but the Yastrzemski kid, Yaz, has gone 3 of the last 3 of the 5.
It is wild to me that people will just sit out there waiting for a splash. I mean, see, as soon as one splashes, there's those kayaks and all that. They're trying to get to the baseball. I mean, I just cannot imagine sitting out there waiting for a home run. And you can't see the game, obviously.
Well, San Francisco is one of these teams. Everybody's talking about the Dodgers and the Padres. But San Fran's sitting at 9-3.
I saw you mentioned Barry Bonds, because I guarantee you he hit at least one of those 5, if not the other 2 that Yastrzemski hasn't hit. I was watching a piece about him on, and I can't remember who the pitcher was, but they were talking about how difficult it was to face Barry Bonds. And he said this, and it kind of stuck with me. He's like, Bonds probably saw one good pitch a series. In an entire 3-game series, Bonds probably saw one good pitch.
He never missed it.
And that's what he said. He was like, and those were his home runs.
He never missed it.
He was like, I mean, most teams did everything they could to pitch around the guy, but occasionally you had to throw him a strike. And he was like, those strikes ended up in McCovey Cove.
And what was so crazy is how easy the game really was for Barry Bonds. You can say what you want about the steroids, the PEDs, but, we were watching Alvarado when he came in last night against the Braves for the Phillies. And I tapped you on the shoulder in the middle of trivia, and I was like, this dude is throwing gas.
He was.
And, he was throwing BBs at 101. But, those are things that Bonds would come in, and you just never challenge Bonds.
Barry Bonds had the first one ever. The second one was Brandon Crawford. And
wow.
The other 3 have been young Yaz.
Damn, so Brandon Crawford must have gone oppo. Wasn't he a righty? Pretty sure he was.
It's tough to get it out in the Bay righty, I would say.
Bonds did it in August of 2003. They didn't have another splash in McCovey Cove walk-off home run until Brandon Crawford did it in 2014. And then Yaz has done it in 2023 and yesterday. That from Sarah Langs on social media, on the X.
She does a good job. That's the young lady Buster has talked a lot about that is battling ALS.
Yeah, the girl that is on the Major League Baseball Network.
And I don't know if you saw this, but Buster had her on his podcast, and they used an AI-generated voice replacement because she's struggling to talk now. And it's very sad, but that was actually pretty cool they were able to do that.
Yeah. Crawford swings it from the left side, shortstop, so that threw me off, but he does swing it from the left side.
All right, that's our show today. Again, apologize for the Stallions interview there, but they are at home Friday night. Tickets available, pack protective. Let's go celebrate another championship with our friends of the Birmingham Stallions there. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. A new Pennant Grace coming up here in 15 minutes live with E.G. playing the host of the show there. And until next time, God bless you and God bless America.